of his inner circle. So Chris Wormold, we think fairly reluctantly, has stepped down.
What an absolutely crazy week for Keir Starmer. His second cabinet secretary, gone. His third chief of staff, gone. His fourth director of communications, gone.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
With your headlines at 1 o'clock, I'm Hugo Chambray. Mikel Arteta says Arsenal needs some of their injured midfielders back quickly, but he'll find no solidarity with Jeff Stelling.
We're still coping, did he say that? I mean, seriously, when it comes to injuries, Mikel and Arsenal fans shouldn't expect any sympathy whatsoever with the size of the squad they have got.
Well, Calafiori and White have joined Odegaard, Havertz and Marino in the treatment room. Arsenal go to Wolves in the Premier League, live on talkSPORT this Wednesday. Meanwhile, Wigan Athletic confirmed Gary Caldwell returns for a second spell as their head coach. Caldwell's left Exeter, who are 14th in League One, for Wigan, who are third from bottom. Over at the T20 World Cup, a little too close for comfort, but England have now beaten Italy, John Norman.
They have, and they've progressed through to the Super 8s, but Italy, like Nepal, pushed them all the way to the close. At the halfway stage, it thought it might be a relatively straightforward win for England. 202 for 7, with player of the match Will Jacks hitting his first 50 in T20 cricket. But despite losing 2 wickets in the first over of their reply, Italy just kept going. 50 for Menenti, Stewart with late order runs, Mosca at the top of the order. In the end, England were grateful for the 3 wickets going the way of Overton and Curran. They've won by 24 runs. Italy bowled out for 178.
Thanks, John. To the Six Nations, the Irish Rugby Union said they had to turn off comments on a social media post which congratulated Edwin Adogbo on his first cap after the replies under it contained racial abuse. Adogbo came off the bench and played the final 10 minutes of Saturday's win over Italy. The IRFU confirm an investigation is underway. And a lot of people have been wondering how you get into Winter Olympic sports. Team GB gold medal winner Tabby Stoker was doing circus performing when she answered an Instagram ad for UK Talent Sports ID.
And I wasn't sure what I was signing up for, but they did a lot of kind of basic testing to begin with of, you know, how fast you can run, how high you can jump, and then got picked for skeleton.
Well, there's more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister says no online platform will get a free pass when it comes to children's safety on the internet. And Sir Keir Starmer says the UK needs to go faster on defence spending. There's more from the news team in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Rain or shine, our mobile tyre fitting service comes to you, so you can stay on the sofa this winter. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Sunny spells and showers, some of those showers heavy at times with a risk of hail and thunder, turning colder in the north.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Where this afternoon, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
Coming up over the next 3 hours, ex-ref Graham Scott unpicks the mayhem at Villa Park. What a disaster. We'll chat to the 50-year-old director of football drafted in as an emergency keeper. And Faraz of Traitors fame previews his beloved Borough's trip to Coventry. Yeah, big game.
That's right. We'll also ask the former England wing Johnny May why Steve Borthwick's team suffer travel sickness. And Steve Harmison gives us his take on another unconvincing performance by England's cricketers against Italy in the that's right, Italy in the T20 World Cup.
They're there, so
they've made it. Yeah.
There's all this plus comedian, Mammoth star and Wales rugby fan Mike Bubbins looks for the positives, and Amy Williams tells us how you could still win skeleton gold whether you're playing rugby or appearing in a circus.
Yeah, we just heard there in Hugo's bulletin, a circus performer to a skeleton gold medalist. So Amy's going to tell us a bit about her journey. Of course, she won a gold medal in Vancouver in 2010. It is 6 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy. There was a little nervy point, wasn't there, when they were 120 for 5 England? You feared the worst, but they got through it. They got through it, and they're through the next stage. Although they say they have been pretty unconvincing so far, haven't they?
Yeah, I watched. I recorded the India-Pakistan game. Looking forward to it, and did a bit of a lightly, lads. Didn't know the result, but what a disappointment.
Yeah.
Pakistan always suffer a sort of inferiority complex when they play India, and
they do.
Didn't perform, and it was all this not. I mean, I know it's political, but not shaking hands. I don't think it sets a great example. I think, not right, really.
We'll have a chat with Harmy a little bit later on. He's going to join. We'll do a bit of Newcastle as well. I'm sure he was. I mean, ultimately, all that madness at Villa Park didn't matter because Newcastle got back in the game.
Yeah, they deserved it, but blimey, the decisions went against them, didn't they?
Yeah, but Graham Scott's got a really interesting take on it. The former Premier League referee, not necessarily agreeing that it makes us think, oh, thank God for VAR. The last thing you ever want to think is thank God for VAR.
No.
Like it's just, we don't any games that make us feel it's the saviour.
It proves maybe that it's needed, but not needed in the way it is.
Yeah.
The way it's said. Ruby Walsh has said that robot jockeys will never replace human ones.
Yeah.
I said, what about AI McCoy?
He'd be good, wouldn't he?
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Come on.
Have you got any more?
No, I haven't at the moment. I'm relying on the listeners.
So you want more robot jockeys?
You're not going to get a lot, I don't think. Give it a go.
How many people know that much about? I mean, you've got to know your jockeys, haven't you?
Well, look it up.
Yeah,
List
I
of
guess.
famous jockeys.
Okay, list of Wikipedia famous jockeys, and then see
That's how to go about
see if
it.
you can get out. Cheat as much as you like.
You won't be surprised to know that Brian Limford in The Star has had his say about the Olympics.
The Winter Olympics, good, yeah.
Matt Weston, brackets 28, who cares, wins a jaw-dropping Olympics gold medal like Grease Lightning, amazingly nearly 1 second clear, brackets 0.88, in the men's skeleton. It's the first men's gold medal to defy a 12-metre, 0.7-mile downhill ice track since first attempted face first, 1887. A nation with a spring in its step and tear in its eye is what the great in Great Britain is all about.
Lovely letter. A beautiful letter there to the Star.
It's just like nothing, isn't it? What?
Yeah.
Listen, and then you read them again, you think, no, it's still...
I love the pettiness of football fans.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe all sports fans, but especially football fans. This is a story today. It was in the Sun. Football fans won a 3-year fight to alter bridge lights so they don't match the colours of their bitter rivals. Southampton supporters were furious. The lamps on Itchen Bridge were blue, the colour of Portsmouth.
Childish.
Now they will shine red and white on match days.
Thank goodness.
Campaigner Perry McMillan said, I'm over the moon.
I bet you are.
The bridge is such a well-known and iconic structure in the city, so it's only right the colours represent us. The council leader, Alex Winning, known as Sing when you're in the dressing room,
Of course it is.
in the committee room, as part of refurbishment, we will update the lighting to allow us to mark key moments. It will be great to light the bridge red, white and blue for national celebrations.
Yeah,
So
all right, mate.
He's not said he's
missing
caved.
the point, aren't you?
He's not said he's caved to the Saints fans, has he? So, look, I kind of get it, but it's a bit petty, isn't it? I mean, do you think?
No, I mean, I get it, and we've had it over the years. People won't.
If you
wear
had sort of
certain
red lights
colours,
on the approach to Stamford Bridge, would you be?
People would be unhappy.
Firing your
about it.
catapult up at the.
Yeah, I think people would be unhappy about it. It's petty, but that's the way.
I'm sure we'd be the same if we had a load of red lights near us in Tottenham. I think we have 1 or 2 in the high street, but we won't go into that.
Did you see that? Anthony Taylor has been tipped to succeed Howard Webb if Howard.
Well, he hasn't been tipped.
No, he has.
He hasn't been tipped.
If Howard Webb basically packs it in.
Right.
He could be head of refereeing.
The Sun guessed at some people who could do it if Howard Webb got the sack, as Mark Halsey said
Anthony
today.
Taylor, I think, is quite a good suggestion. Basically, if it happens, Chelsea will be relegated after a series of terrible VAR decisions.
I'm all for that. Just to see your reaction, that would be hilarious. Yeah. So anyway,
stop him refereeing our games. That might be good.
What about Metal McCoy? Metal Mickey McCoy. Frankie R2D Ian in Liverpool.
Not bad.
Metal Mick Fitzgerald, says Mike in Cookham. Yes. Frankie R2D2 Rory, says Sandeep the Forest fan. Yeah. Frankie Atari, that's not bad. Dodge in Bradford.
Quite good.
Frankie Chat GPT Tory. I'm not sure that one works quite as well. But okay, fair play to you. I mean, the few seconds you had, you've done remarkably well. So Mike in Cookham gave us Metal Mick Fitzgerald. Thank you, Mike.
I've gone grok mad, grok animation mad.
I know you have. Yeah. I mean, the trouble is you are that sort of person. You know, you're suddenly all your doodling that you do during. A few listeners said to me, Andy's often looking down when I've watched on TV. What's he doing? Well, he's doodling, isn't he? You doodle. Is that how you?
I forget that it's on TV. I always like to think of it as a radio program. I do apologise.
That'll teach you. Well, it's always nice to watch a man drawing on television.
I'll look up.
That was Tony Hart's career, wasn't it?
I'll do it while looking up.
So let's have some examples of the pettiness of football fans, with a nod to campaigner Perry McMillan saying, like, it was petty, but it wasn't petty. I kind of knew where he was coming from. The other thing was, expensive victories. I don't know if you've seen, we're going to chat to Amy Williams, the Olympic gold medalist in the skeleton back in 2010, a little bit later on. But one of the stories that has emerged from the skeleton, if I actually find my right page, is that you have to, when you win a gold medal, you have to treat all the boys who look after the skeleton run. You have to buy them a crate of beer.
Wow.
So, they're going to have to he's going to go and get some crates of beer out. So I suppose it's all like 19 hole, isn't it? Get your hole in.
How do they cool the beer down?
Well, they're always room temperature, which strangely. But yeah, every time you break a track record, it says you have to buy a crate of beers for the track workers, says Matt Weston, the Winter Olympic gold medalist. So, costly achievements. So we're after a few of those. You won something, you thought, hang on, that's going to cost me. Let's have a few of those, and the pettiness of the football.
It's like a hole-in-one in golf, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And more of you. And more of your... there seems to be the trend these days, you just buy a bottle of whiskey and stick it on the side, and if anybody wants a dram, they can. That's the get-out, rather than buying a drink for everybody in the clubhouse.
I didn't know that.
I've heard a few hole-in-oneers who've had on the show.
Oh, wow.
Lester Robot. What's Lester Robot? Mark, he's not even tried, has he?
It's Lester Piggott, but it's not really...
Yeah. Wally Carson. That's very good, Julian. Well done. I like that one, yeah. Robo Walsh.
Sort of.
Yeah, kind of. That's Gareth. Okay, we get the idea of that.
Yeah.
Wally Swinburne says, Ranny in your...
We might have exhausted it.
Yeah, I think we may have. Anyway, you put us right. Talksport.com, text 1889, tweet TS8J 03717223344. Yes, there's the standout conversation really from the FA Cup weekend was everything that went on with Chris Kavanagh and his assistants at Villa Park.
I mean, the people who run VAR wanted an advert for their product. Yeah. That game was everything.
Kalina and Ellery probably just cracked open a bottle of champagne that evening, didn't they? But Graham Scott, the former Premier League referee, doesn't necessarily think it makes you feel that VAR is the saviour. He has his thoughts on what went on in the game, how the officials would have felt, and we'll be chatting to him in a few moments' time. So Steve Harmer's on the cricket. England beating Italy after a little bit of a shaky moment midway through their 20 overs. And Andy Brassell's going to join us, some big stories around Europe. A very weird bit of VAR involved, I think, in a sending off in the Juve Inter game. Harry Kane's 500th goal.
Tremendous.
And all manner of other stuff besides. And later on, the 50-year-old director of football who found himself in goal for the last 10 minutes of a game when the keeper was sent off. Mike Bubbins of Mammoth fame, comedian, big Welsh rugby fan. We'll get his take on what he made of the weekend. And are there the green shoots of recovery, which is what, of course, Steve Tandy, the coach, says. And Faraz Noor, Faraz from Traitors, he's a big Borough fan. They go to Cov tonight. Huge game live on talkSPORT 2 at the top of the championship. And we'll be chatting to him later. But Graham Scott up next. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station.
Thomas Tuchel signing a contract, is it because of the fact that the FA were concerned he was going to go somewhere else?
Listen, I think it is. You know, I certainly think he was on Manchester United's list. Who knows? Maybe he would have been on Tottenham's list as well. And I think that's why they had to get this done, because what you don't want, if you're the FA, and if you're an England fan, you don't want Thomas Tuchel going into the World Cup with constant speculation that he could be leaving for a Premier League club job at the end of the tournament. I think getting that out of the way, he can focus on the job in hand. I don't think England will win the World Cup. I think there's a lot that counts against England winning this World Cup.
What happens if we lose in the quarterfinals? Does he continue as England manager?
I think I don't think we should underestimate if he gets to the quarterfinal of a World Cup. When you go back pre-Gareth Southgate, which is your argument, we'd have bitten your hand off at the quarterfinal of a World Cup.
Are you going to defend me on that?
No, I'll defend you because I think Gareth Southgate should have won a European Championship. I think they should have beaten Italy in that final. However, pre-Gareth Southgate, England didn't get to quarterfinals and finals at European Championships. So I don't, and it's a tough draw, by the way. You talk about draws. I was there when the draw was made in Washington. England have got to take out some big hitters to get to a quarterfinal.
So where does he have to get to keep his job done?
I think the quarterfinal is par. I think anything beyond that is
success. Do you
agree? The likelihood is that they're going to have to go to Mexico and play Mexico in Mexico City, which is going to be a difficult thing to do, although Mexico traditionally don't ever go any further than the last 16 of the World Cup. Then their quarterfinal, if everything goes to plan, which it never does, so it won't be this, is supposed to be Brazil in Miami.
A little bit later on, we'll be looking ahead to our FA Cup commentary, the remaining game between Macclesfield and Brentford on the plastic pitch. Brentford have been doing a bit of training on their academy plastic pitch in Readymont because Palace were a bit caught out by it the other week, weren't they?
Yeah, good idea.
It's a bit of a leveller. Sam Matterface and Andy Townsend, your commentary team. Brentford supporting Natalie Sawyer is your host for that one. We got Cov versus Borough on talkSPORT.
It's a bit tricky which one to go with, really, because, you know, it's a cup game and it could be exciting, but you feel Brentford should have enough.
If Brentford couple up in
whereas the other one is going to really decide who's got the advantage in the run-in.
Should be a cracking game. Anyway, both cracking games, and you can get your calls into the Sports Bar straight after those matches and have your say. Now, former Premier League ref Chris Foy joined Jeff Sterling and Ali McCoist on breakfast this morning. They discussed the role of VAR in the current game and how it's affected referees.
Isn't there a case for looking at how VAR is impacting our game and maybe changing the way we incorporate it into the game?
I think the thing is with VAR, Jeff, everybody has an opinion on it, and I have my opinion as well. I think what we have to do is to stress that it's not there to re-referee, it's not there to forensically examine. That's not what we want.
But games are being re-refereed, Chris. You see it week after week after week. You see it week after week where the VAR official has interfered and the referee is forced to go and make a decision.
Yeah, well, it's riled everybody really in the last few days. Offering a balanced view in his Telegraph column today, which threw up some very interesting points. The headline was, VAR has damaged referees, but not in the way Alan Shearer thinks, because we obviously heard his comments after the match. Is the former Premier League ref Graham Scott. Hi, Graham.
Hi, good to be back.
Yeah, good to talk to you again. And yeah, I thought the way you looked at all the decisions, there were three key decisions that people have taken exception to and have said, you know, VAR would have got everybody out of jail in that situation. Maybe we should start with the Tammy Abraham offside. I mean, we see it in a sort of raised situation position on TV. You were making the point that that's not the assistant's view.
No, it is a lot easier from above. I do think this is one he should get right, but I understand how it happened. So the free kick's taken quite quickly. It catches Newcastle out too, by the way. I mean, they're flat-footed. So I wouldn't forgive the assistant, but I would understand that, everyone can be caught by a clever bit of play by Villa, which it was. And then it means he's probably about quarter of a second, half a second out. And in that moment, Abraham's moved. And he also moves from behind another Villa player into view. And Villa have worked very hard on their set plays. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they've stationed that player there deliberately to obscure the assistant's view.
Yeah.
Perfectly legitimate, by the way.
Wow.
Perfectly legitimate. But they're at that level of detail. So he's then got to look round him. And now once you're looking around something, you're not in line and you're guessing a bit. And I wrote in my piece about the assistants still work on the premise that the attacker should get the benefit of the doubt. And of course, VAR strips that away. So people think, there is no benefit of doubt anymore. Well, there isn't after VAR, but in the original process, they still have that thought that if I'm not sure, I'm keeping my flag down. And I think that's almost certainly what he did. Wrongly, of course, and we know that.
I thought your take on the Luca Dean challenge is interesting because it was very much like, I'm sure Newcastle fans were thinking Anthony Gordon versus Liverpool. I mean, it did seem pretty excessive. He looked out of control. Yeah. The studs hit it. And it was interesting, you felt, had VAR been there, they probably would have backed him with the yellow.
Yeah, not so sure that they would have backed him. I mean, we don't know. It's one of those. It could have gone either way, I guess. I think it is. I don't think it's quite as bad as Gordon's at Newcastle. I see the similarities. There are certainly elements of it the same. I think the mistake that's been made around these tackles is that PGMO, having listened to clubs, have put too much emphasis on the point of contact and the nature of the contact, not the extent to which the player is out of control. So Gordon was out of control at Newcastle Liverpool. He'd run from 30 yards, he sprints in, he flies in, he's nowhere near the ball, and he takes out Van Dijk. Dean has come from much closer, but he's still come, I think, with too much force for that tackle. He doesn't need to go in like that to win the ball in fairly. He's gone in, he's seen it as a free shot, and I think that makes it more red than yellow. And I would have absolutely, if he'd sent him off, I'd be sitting there going, "Yeah, it's a good call that." I think it's a fair decision. But you know how VAR works. We don't want it to intervene until we want it to intervene. So in here, we think it's a red. Why didn't he come in? So they couldn't. But you know what I mean. So I think this one probably is more red than yellow. But I can just about sit with the yellow if that's how the referee and the assistants.
The trouble is, like we had last week in Spain, we had an 8-minute one. They've got to do something about it. They can't just leave it the way it is, can they? All right, they can't get rid of it, but they can't leave it the way it is either.
I don't know how you feel, Graham. I don't agree with time limits. That feels wrong. It's not countdown, is it? You can't have a clock. You're trying to make a decision
you can't have people standing around for 7 or 8 minutes.
I know, but if you say, okay, you can't do it in 60 seconds, then don't do it at all. And then you think, if they'd had 70 seconds, they would have got that one right. If you're the team that's sawn off.
People forget there are 30, 40, sometimes more cameras on a game. And in some situations, you don't know which one it is you need to find. Also, Sky and TNT and others, the other big broadcasters, they invest huge numbers of staff to search for the best angle, the best replay, to put together a little package within 15 seconds and go, there you go, here's one replay, here's a second, here's a third. You've now got a pretty much rounded view of what's just happened. In the world of VAR, you're relying on someone who works for Hawkeye, just out of university, probably on their own. Sometimes they've got an assistant who is scouring a big screen with 30 angles on it, trying to find the best one. They then chuck that up to the VAR, who goes, well, that's no good to me. I need something different. And it takes longer. Every other sport that uses this system uses the broadcasters, apart from football. Football has decided that it knows better. We're going to use an independent company. Some of that's to do with integrity. You know what people are like. If you found out the TV director supported Liverpool, well, he can't do any games involving Liverpool, Everton, Manchester United, But really, I mean, the pictures would speak for themselves.
Yeah. We do have to look on that last decision, the handball in the box, the Dean handball.
That's got to be one of the worst decisions of the season.
That is very. I mean, can you offer any kind of defence for the officials on that one?
No. No, I can explain to a degree in that there is a bit of a blind spot there because the assistant is looking at offside. So you tend to think, the assistant's got a good view of it. Yeah, but they're laser focused on offside. The split second the ball's played, they're trying to form a judgment. He will know he's likely made a mistake earlier. So he'll be even more focused on offside now. So it's the referee's job to see it. And he's not looked at, his eyes have not been in the right place. And because he should see it. He should not only see the handball, but also know where Dina is. And I can't defend it. I'd love to try. I can't. I can try and explain it with it's a bit of a blind spot, a bit awkward, a bit tricky. But really, I mean, there was one at Burnley earlier in the season. Michael Oliver's the ref, exactly the same. We normally say, there's no two incidents are the same. It was exactly the same. And Michael Oliver blows his whistle, points to the spot in a moment, and the defender just puts his head in his hands. It can be done. It can be done.
I wonder I've often wondered what the referee feels like. You're sitting at home watching Match of the Day, that one comes on, and you know you've made an absolute. Yeah. It must be a horrible feeling.
You know from the players' reaction, though, Graham, don't you know when you probably got one wrong because the players, it's not faux outrage, it's proper outrage.
No, that's right. And I think this is one of the things that has been lost with VAR. So we used to get very good at understanding that micro reaction, and then sometimes if we're in a hole, getting ourselves out of it.
Yeah.
We've lost the ability to do that somewhere. And I mean, I know in this case, Chris had only refereed, I think, only one game all season without VAR, which is in the League Cup several months ago. He will be so used to being in that situation where if I have made a mistake, well, VAR will now at least correct me. Yeah. And that doesn't mean you're scared to make the call in the first place, but it does affect your mindset going into the rest of the game. If you know it's been put right, you move on. If you know it's not clear and obvious, you can move on. But if you know you've made a mistake that really could determine the outcome of this match and I can't change it, that will affect you. And we used to be very good at moving on, setting it aside, move on to the rest of the game. We'll deal with that later. Yeah. That seems to have been lost. And that does need to be addressed because in the FA Cup, early rounds, these games are really important. Once you're out, you're out. You haven't got another 37 games to put it right.
Just finally, Mark Halsey, your fellow former referee, was calling for Howard Webb to step down. He thinks it needs some fresh eyes. You've worked under Howard and you've been a referee slightly more recently than Mark. What's your take on that? Do you think it could do with a freshen up?
No, I generally think Howard's doing most of the right things as best he can with the resources that he's got. The clubs don't invest in football, don't invest in referees. They're giving about $1.5 million a year each, the 20 clubs. I mean, Erling earns that by Thursday of the first week of the year. You know, it's in, or maybe the second week of the year, apologies. But they're not really. He's not really got the backup that he needs. Clearly, there's issues that need to be addressed. He does work incredibly hard to address them. There's also the point of, okay, well, it's a bit like fans saying, we want the manager to go. Okay, well, who are you bringing in? Who have we got out there who's better? Who would we go and get? And I'm not sure that person exists right now, which is a problem in itself because there should be someone in the wings. But I don't think this is a situation where Howard should be thinking about resigning or the PL thinking about getting rid of him.
No, I agree with that.
Good to talk to you, Graham. Thanks, as always.
Thanks, both. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Graham Scott, former Premier League referee, read his column in The Telegraph today.
You know, we had a chat with Howard recently, and he's a good man. He's trying to do his best, but it's a tricky system, and a whole point. The laws aren't right, which don't help. You know, it's not just one single thing, is it? That's the problem.
Absolutely. Well, the next episode of the talkSPORT Daily podcast out. Majestic and Alan Pardew going to review all the weekend's action. They talk a bit of Arsenal, Wigan, Spurs and Igor Tudor, Harry Kane's 500 goals, that and a whole lot more. If you want to listen to that, it's on the talkSPORT Daily. It's available on all podcast platforms now. We're going to be chatting to Andy Brassell, guiding us around Europe, looking at some of the big stories, including Kane's 500, in a few moments' time.
You know, when you walk into Tottenham, what you see everywhere is to dare is to do. It's everywhere. And yet their actions are almost the antithesis of that. Right. It's a real curious in terms of understanding what are they trying to build. You know, what are they? Is it? There's obviously they've built an unbelievable stadium, unbelievable training facilities. But when you look at the expenditure, particularly in their wages structure, they're not a big club. I saw that because when we were trying to sign players, we weren't in the market for those players.
I was stunned. I thought it was disgraceful.
Did you?
I thought, honestly, I couldn't believe what I was listening to. The club have given him £7 million. He's blaming everyone but himself.
No, we got him a trophy.
Yes, but for his sacking, he's blaming everyone. But when I sat down on the day of the final, Daniel Levy comes up to me and goes, I've been in 8 semi-finals and final. We all laughed.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? That's his fault.
I don't want to know that. That should be private.
No.
He's giving you Honestly, he didn't blame himself. Did he ever say, I wasn't that good?
No. No, but
let me tell you now, if you're listening, Ange, I know you won't, but if you're listening, the reason you were the worst Spurs manager in 50 years.
Most successful in the last 20.
And the reason you got
Is he the most successful in the last 20?
Yeah, but I've already told you why, right?
No, but is he?
Not in the league, no. All I'm saying is league.
When they look back, though, they'll go, and you were successful.
No, because before him, who's the last manager to win something?
Juan de Ramos.
That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you're a good manager. The last two have been appalling. The last two have been appalling. But let me tell you now, right? The reason he got sacked by Spurs, the reason he got sacked after 39 days at Forest was because he's not a very good manager. And he never looked at himself once. He never blamed himself once. It was never his fault.
Mikel Arteta says Arsenal need some of their injured midfielders back and quickly, but he'll find no solidarity with Jeff Stelling.
We're still coping, did he say that? I mean, seriously, when it comes to injuries, Mikel and Arsenal fans shouldn't expect any sympathy whatsoever with the size of the squad they have got.
Calafiori, White have joined Ødegaard, Havertz and Marino in the treatment room. Arsenal go to Wolves in the Premier League live on talkSPORT this Wednesday to the Six Nations, where Scotland centre and legend Hugh Jones has told us even he doesn't know what Finn Russell's about to do, and that's what makes him such a special player.
Yeah, on the day, everything he touched turned to gold. He went down the short side for Ben White to try, broke a couple of tackles.
Yeah.
He's pretty slippery. But yeah, he was on good form and big part of our win.
The freewheeling try scorer won't be drawn on Scotland's Six Nations chances for the Championship following their thumping win over England. And a lot of people have been wondering how you get into those Winter Olympic events. Team GB gold medal winner Tabby Stoker was doing circus performing when she answered an Instagram ad for UK Sports Talent ID.
And I wasn't sure what I was signing up for, but they did a lot of kind of basic testing to begin with of, how fast you can run, how high you can jump, and then got picked for skeleton.
And at the T20 World Cup, Steve Smith has joined up with the Australian squad, replacing the injured Josh Hazelwood. More at talksport.com.
We mentioned earlier on the Southampton fans who campaigned to have a blue light on a bridge near their ground changed, and they've finally got their own way. And we said, kind of the pettiness of football fans. But having said that, I'm sure we'd all be as petty about our own clubs. Dan, the Saints fan, says, do you think we're petty? The Emirates wanted to sponsor the Spinnaker Tower in Portsmouth. All their fans kicked off as the Emirates logo is red and white. So they changed it to blue.
Oh, really?
So both clubs got a bit of previous, clearly. So thank you very much for
What
that.
about Gary Spinnaker?
Yeah, what a player he was. There's a few traffic lights around the Rangers side of Glasgow that have cages over the green lights because they get smashed.
Oh, dear.
The Subway people, the sandwich shops, notoriously green, had to rebrand their logo to black. Blimey. Dom, thank you for letting us know. Wow. Anyway, let's enter the world of European football now in the company of Andy Brassel. Good afternoon, Andy.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Good, thank you. We should start saluting Harry Kane, 25 for the season, 500 career goals. Or he's going to be doing a Pele or Cristiano, coming out on strike unless he gets good backup
Yeah, we were
players
talking about
for
the
his
interview
thousands.
with Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney says Harry Kane is simply the best finisher in football.
Yeah.
I think he's right.
And it was interesting to hear Ange Postecoglou the other day saying, I worked with him for 2 weeks and he's the best player I've ever worked with. I mean, the plaudits keep coming.
Yeah, they do. And it was interesting because them playing Werder Bremen, who are really badly struggling at the moment, despite being such a big name, it was expected that he'd get to 25 Bundesliga goals for the season. It was expected that he'd get to 500 career goals. So really all the chat after his 2 goals, and the second one, by the way, was a gem. First one, a penalty, but second one didn't even look like a chance. And he just found a way to sneak it in the corner from 25 yards out. It was all about where he might go next, because he's 3 goals away from matching his best ever season with Bayern, which was his first one, 44. He's got 41 in all competitions so far. But the real 41 that counts is the 41 that Robert Lewandowski got in season 2021, which was beating Gerd Muller's never to be beaten, absolutely impossible to beat Bundesliga season record. So he's got 15 more to match that, 16 to beat it. Now, everyone's asking about it, of course. Vincent Kompany was asked about it afterwards, and he said, I don't care about the record, and I'll tell Harry that to his face, because of course the team aims are far more worthwhile, and that's right. But as well, I think it underlines something about Kane that I feel like I say on here quite a lot. The fact that describing him in numbers is coming nowhere close to describing how good he actually is and what he does on a weekly basis for Bayern on and off the field, and why they want to keep him beyond 2027.
Yeah. Do tell us
he does it in the World Cup
about this refereeing mistake and all the fallout from it in the Inter-Juve game. I was listening to you and Danny last night on Trans Europe Express. It's an absolute shocker. Tell us more.
Yeah, so it's the Derby d'Italia between Inter and Juventus. It doesn't get any bigger. 1-1 at the time, towards the end of the first half. And Alessandro Bastoni, the Inter centre-back, slaloms past Pierre Kalulu. Takes what is quite clearly a dive. Kalulu's sent off for a second booking. Of course, you can't review second bookings, because not only on review would Kalulu not have got a second booking if that were possible, but Bastoni would have for simulation, because he was on a yellow card. So rather than Inter being down to 10 men, Juventus were down to 10 men, battled manfully, went down to a 90th minute winner by Piotr Zielinski, as we can see being celebrated there, which is a rare instance of Inter, who are the league leaders by 8 points at the moment, although Milan have a game in hand. Rare instance of them beating a direct rival. You know, they've not been able to beat Juventus, Napoli, Milan this season. They've only beaten Roma. That's the only other top team they've beaten. So it was a relief for them. But there was quite consternation in the tunnel at half time, for which Damian Comoli, the director general of Juventus, might face a ban. Spalletti was trying to drag him away from the officials, which really is not a thing that a coach should have to be doing at half time. But they played really well second half. But Juventus have already had an apology from Gianluca Rocchi, who is the head of refereeing over there. But as we know from the last IFAB meeting, the fact that second bookings can't be reviewed and can't be appealed is something that's likely to be adjusted in the very near future.
They're going to change it. They have to.
The referees did criticise those in the league who try everything they can to cheat the officials. I mean,
yeah, he's got a point.
You do feel maybe a retrospective bringing the game into disrepute charge against Bastoni, but they can't even do that within the laws, can they?
No, they can't. But I think we've got to be careful with this, because obviously a huge mistake in a big game like this is very difficult to live with. On the other hand, I think we have to look at half of the problem that people have with VAR at the moment is it's just micromanaging the game, and that is definitely a negative thing for the supporters in the stadium, and it's definitely a negative thing for the flow of the game. Now, VAR has already stepped well outside its original remit of clear and obvious decisions, and if we're going back over bookings, and corners is another thing that's likely to be adjusted as well. From every moment really in the game. So where does it stop? I mean, is life long enough for this?
Yeah, it's very true. Now, I was looking at some comments from Real Madrid fans online and some of the fallout from their recent game, and it struck me it was a bit like the private eye thing where they say, in previous editions, we may have given you the idea that Trent Alexander-Arnold was an absolute dud and a waste of money. We now realise he's the second coming of David Beckham and should be starting the World Cup for England at every game for us. So they seem to have changed their tune a bit recently, don't they?
Well, in fairness, it's the first game he started since the beginning of December. He was a surprise pick for the game against Real Sociedad on Saturday night, and he was excellent. He set up the opening goal for Gonzalo after 5 minutes, and from there he went on to be involved in one of the other goals. Real Madrid won 4-1 against a team that hadn't lost yet under their new coach Pellegrino Matarazzo, and put themselves on top of the league pending Barcelona's game tonight. So I mean, a lot of the pushback against Trent Alexander-Arnold is because he's been competing with a place with Dani Carvajal, who's club captain, club legend, won everything, out of contract at the end of the season. And when Trent Alexander-Arnold was brought on instead of Carvajal for the last 20 minutes at Valencia last week for his first appearance since December, Carvajal had real trouble dealing with it at all, and he was sort of talked down by the coaching staff. He had a meeting with Alvaro Arbeloa last Monday. And so really, a lot of what Trent has had to deal with is just nothing to do with it. But it's the culture of Real Madrid, isn't it? Yeah. And it's a culture that Real Madrid foster, really, which makes, I guess, the sort of annoyance that the fans have with a lot of their stars for behaving like stars slightly awkward, because, you know, that is what the club is all about.
Now, over the next couple of nights, we could be saying goodbye to some pretty big names in European football via these playoffs. I mean, PSG, they got 2 legs over Monaco. The second leg is at their place, though. So what sort of form are they in going into this?
Well, PSG had a very bad night on Friday night. They went down 3-1 currently managerless Rennes, and they were well beaten. They had chances to get a draw, but they wouldn't have deserved it. And Ousmane Dembélé was overheard slating some of his teammates and saying they weren't trying hard enough. Now it was funny because Luis Enrique sort of was asked about it in the press conference afterwards, and he normally speaks in slightly faltering French, and he said, "Right, I'm going to say this in Spanish so no one misunderstands me. Anything that a player has to say directly after a game is worth nothing at all." And he just wanted to move on to it from there. Now, of course, Dembele's had these moments before. He got dropped for the Champions League game at Arsenal in autumn of last season after a few words that weren't that appreciated as well. So how the Stars react to this, I think, will be really interesting. You know, there's this slightly cranky old man vibe to PSG because the fact is they've played a heck of a lot of games at really, really high intensity, and it seems to be stacking up on them a little bit. Of course, this defeat does mean that they are no longer top of the league. Lens are back on top after winning 5-0 at Paris FC at the weekend.
I mean, we're out of time, but can you give us 30 seconds on all the mayhem at Marseille? De Zerbi went last week. Benatia, the director of football, was gone yesterday. So it's all happening there, isn't it?
Yeah, and there were massive protests in their game against Strasbourg at the weekend. Lots of fans didn't come in until after the game had started. There were banners against Frank McCaw, the owner, and the president, Pablo Longoria. So it's hard to know where the direction is going forward. They're still waiting to appoint Habib Bey, but he's mired in legal troubles with Rennes, who fired him about a week and a half ago. And they're 5 points off third place now, which is synonymous with the automatic Champions League qualifying.
Well, we'll catch up with you next week, Andy. Thanks very much.
Thanks, look forward to it.
Andy will be back on Sunday night alongside Danny Kelly for Trans Europe Express. That's available as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. If you missed the show last night, deep dive into the world of European football and world football. So, still to come, Steve Harmison's going to join us for a chat. England have beaten Italy in the cricket. You kind of expect that. But it wasn't without its hiccups along the way. 120 for 5, etc. But they got it done. But how does Harmy feel they're doing so far in this tournament? Can they go on and win it? Having looked at India the other day, it's going to be a big ask. That's all coming up. We're here with Tool Station. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Tool Station.
Is Szoboszlai up with a Gerrard standard? I'd love to know that what Liverpool fans thought, because I think but him and Gerrard, there ain't a lot in it. I mean, Steven Gerrard at 25, 26 was amazing. He dragged the team, a bit like Szoboszlai has done this season, but Liverpool did win the Champions League in 2005. And look, an outstanding, if not the best ever Liverpool midfielder. But I wondered how close Szoboszlai was to Gerrard. I'd just love to know if there's Liverpool fans out there who would go, do you know what? Or no, he's not, you know. Because I think they're pretty close.
Never mind Liverpool fans out there who say, no, he's not. Yeah, there are some presenters here who said, no, he's not. The thing for me, Coisty, is that he would have to do it over a heck of a lot longer period to ever be compared to Steven Gerrard.
Listen, I've got to say to you, Jeff, I've written down 4 words here. Big Cass, there's a line, then I've put calm down. I've just put calm down after it. Szoboszlai probably has been the pick of the bunch of Liverpool players, perhaps this season.
Yeah, I think he has.
Yeah, I think he's been terrific. You can look at key moments, for example, his goal, a free kick against Arsenal, out of this world. Even his goal in the defeat at home to Manchester City, out of this world. His goal at the weekend was absolutely fabulous, Jeff. It really was, mate. I spoke to you about it. Overlap, Kerkez allows Gakpo to come inside. Switch of play is magnificent. One touch from Salah, the hit. It was just a beautiful goal.
The pettiness of football fans. Age 38 with a sweet tooth. I will never touch a Tottenham cake or a Chelsea bun, says Alex the Gooner in Walthamstow. See, we're all petty. We've all got our own little things going on. This is off the back of the Southampton fans who had some blue lamps changed on a bridge near their ground. Won a campaign. Tell us about the pettiness of football fans. Talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J. 03717223344. About the pettiness of Newcastle fans. Wanted a handball penalty the other day.
Oh, you're ridiculous.
Never a penalty in a million years. Here, maybe to touch on that, is Steve Harmison, the former England fast bowler and Newcastle fan. Hello, Steve.
Afternoon, gents. How are we?
I bet you were raging, weren't you? It didn't matter in the end because you came back and won. But had you lost that game, blimey.
Yeah, I think that was an extra one to a long list of things that Newcastle might have. I thought it was a penalty on Lewis Hall. There was a handball on Deeney. I thought it didn't. Well, to be fair, Deeney shouldn't have been on the field to handball. That was a bad tackle, I thought. That was a red card.
Yeah.
And then he had a yellow card, and then he stayed on the field for handball. I mean, it was so bad. I think it was. I mean, from a referee's point of view, it was ridiculous. So, we got the win. It was a win desperately needed from Newcastle's point of view, and one that I think showed the dressing room, showing the supporters that, or the minority supporters, showing that we support the manager. We're all in. And we might have had a difficult couple of weeks, but we've just rallied around our manager, and we need a full support to do that. And I'm sure that will happen next time Newcastle play at home.
Yeah, what a strike from Tenali as well. Fantastic.
You got the draw tonight, Harmy. Is there anybody you favour?
To be fair, they've had two Premier League teams now, so I think anybody at St James's, we've had our troubles on the road, but we've won our last two games. Hopefully, we got a Karabag and get something in Azerbaijan, and that will then give them a boost of further down the line from away games. But I think in the FA Cup, if Newcastle get a home draw, St James's will be bouncing. And at home, even though we had a little bit of a blip against a good Brentford side, I think we'll beat anybody at home.
What about a little
City away? That would be good.
Well, a little trip to the Stadium of Light. That would be good, wouldn't it?
That would be great, wouldn't it? That would be great. I think Newcastle, I tell you what, I think the Newcastle players would take that. I think off what happened in the first game, Sunderland were brilliant. Deserved to win, no problem at all. But I think Newcastle fans and players, and possibly be interesting, I don't think he'd admit it, but I think Eddie Howe would quite like to go back to the Stadium of Light just to put a few things right.
Now, England beat Italy this morning, going to the Super 8 of the T20 World Cup, but there were a few fractious, anxious moments for England. Have they convinced you so far? How confident are you they can sort of push on from here?
They haven't convinced me yet, but I think I'm excited by that. I really am. I look at the screen at the bottom and it says England beat Italy by 24 runs. 24 runs in a T20 game is a lot of runs. That's a good beating. I didn't think Italy were well beaten. I still think England are finding their form. And I think the beauty about the way England have played over them 4 games is the big players haven't quite found their form. Rashid, Archer, Brook especially, Butler, Salt haven't quite clicked. And if somebody had said to me at the start, England are going to get to the semi-final, final, and potentially win it, it would be them 5. I'm thinking they've got to have an unbelievable World Cup, but they haven't quite hit it yet. So the likes of, I'll probably name the rest of the team here. Bethel's looked quite good. Curran under pressure has been really, really good. And Jax is brilliant in this game. So I think slowly but surely England hopefully should start hitting their straps. I've just been speaking to Neil Manthorpe on Following On, and we talk about how many times in the last 10 years Australia have got to finals or won a World Cup, and you're going, they should have been knocked out here, they should have been knocked out there, and they should have been knocked out there. But they got to the semi-final, their big players turned up, won the final, and that's a great thing for England to have. So fingers crossed, going into the sort of, and actually looks, the group stage, Super 8 group stage, it looks like England are going to be in with Sri Lanka, New Zealand and Pakistan. That's not a bad Super 8 groups when you look at South Africa, India, probably Australia and the West Indies. I think England have got a nice little route potentially to try and get to the semi-finals.
New Zealand are always good, but
yeah,
I think there's a case for Sam Curran. I wonder if he should have been the captain. I mean, he's a brilliant white ball player. He's one of the best players in the IPL. Captain Surrey. It's more natural because I don't know if it's affecting Brook, but he's just not fulfilling himself batting wise, is he?
No, I agree, Andy. I agree with you. I agree with you on the batting side. The captaincy, I think, in an ideal world, we want the World Cup to finish for Harry from a personal point of view so he can go home, regroup, get himself in a position to sort of start the summer in June and have a little bit of a break away from the media, the prying eye, the goldfish bowl of international cricket. He's had a tough winter. A lot of it is done by himself. So he's at fault for quite a lot of it, the pressure that he's put himself under. I would actually move him to number 4. I'd swap him with Tom Banton. I'd give him more responsibility, send him up the order. You're captain. We need you to bat number 4, and split Banton and Bethel, 2 more inexperienced players. But I think Sam Curran, I'm never ever worried about Sam Curran when you need 10 to win. If they need 20 to win, I worry about Sam Curran. If they need 10 to win, this kid performs, sticks his chest out, give me the challenge, and I'm there. I understand the captaincy stuff because he's done it really well in franchise cricket. But I like Harry Brook as captain. I think he does make good decisions. I just think, unfortunately, he don't speak very well, and things are just getting more and more on top of him from obviously what happened in New Zealand all the way through the Ashes and now this World Cup.
Well, fingers crossed they can go on from here. But Harmy, for now, thanks ever so much for joining us.
Cheers, boys.
Steve Harmison there. All the reaction to that England win over Italy. You can head to the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel this afternoon, and you can watch the Following On podcast that Harmy mentioned there. Still to come this afternoon. Faraz from Traitors is going to join us. Faraz Noor, he is he's a big Borough fan, and Borough go to Cov tonight, and it's live on talkSPORT too. Huge game at the top of the championship. Mike Bubbins, star of TV's Mammoth, comedian and Wales rugby fan, tells us if he can see the green shoots of recovery. And the 50-year-old director of football who found himself playing as emergency keeper, plus Amy Williams, Olympic gold medalist in the skeleton back in 2010, out at the Winter Games commentating on a brilliant gold medal haul yesterday for Team GB. That's all to come.
But Forest fans, in comes Vitor Pereira. Is he the right choice? And Thomas Frank has gone. In comes Igor Tudor. So Frank for Tudor, Deitch for Pereira. Do those pivots give you more or less confidence of Premier League survival? Basically, that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Because you do not want to drop down to the Championship. 03717 2233 44. Danny, big Forest fan. Good morning, Danny. What about it? Vitor Pereira. And where are you, Danny, with your owner, Evangelos Marinakis? What is he about?
Good morning, guys. Thanks for letting me on.
Morning.
Yeah, I think the thing with Marinakis is that if he makes a mistake, he corrects it. I mean, we could talk about a lot of clubs in the past, Man United being one, Tottenham in some circumstances, when they basically hammer the manager, but nothing's done about it. Mr. Marinakis has basically taken a club from Championship, took them into the Premier. A bit soon, but he got them into Europe as well. And in respect to his actions of firing Nuno basically did that himself. You can't do your washing outside and expect no consequences. Yeah. Then you get Ange coming in, which was the big Ange show, and he was the same at Tottenham. It's all about him. When he was getting press conferences about the next game, all he was talking about was him. You could argue a lot of that's down to the media and pushing him. And then you get Sean Dyche in, who's got links with Forest. I get all of that. But he was just, he wasn't performing. You can argue with the stats, and if we'd have kept him, he might have kept us up, etc., etc. But the most important thing which has been hammered is the fact that we need to stay in the Premier.
Johnny May will join us a little bit later on, the former England wing. We'll look at England's travel sickness currently after that defeat, the Calcutta Cup in the Six Nations. But let's get these sports headlines now with Hugo Chambray.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
Thanks, Paul. Good afternoon. talkSPORT's Jeff Stelling thinks there's a case for changing the way VAR is incorporated into the game.
I mean, I think that VAR has meant that actually levels of officiating now are probably at the lowest that they've ever been in this country.
A number of mistakes were made in Newcastle's win at Villa. Martin Keown's told White and Jordan that although there was a lot of good refereeing over the weekend, over-reliance on VAR means officiating can suffer.
It's like reversing the car without the bleep noise or all these things. We're getting into an old car and we're hitting things. You know, they're not at the level anymore. And it's probably human nature. And we shouldn't be too critical.
Elsewhere, Wigan Athletic confirmed Gary Caldwell returns for a second spell as their head coach. Caldwell's left Exeter, who are 14th in League One, for Wigan, who are in the bottom three, while Macclesfield boss John Rooney hopes his side can deliver another huge FA Cup upset tonight. The non-league side host Brentford this evening.
I'm sure there'll be a lot more eyes on us expecting an upset than there was in the Crystal Palace game, but that's testament to the club, to the players, to the staff who've done everything behind the scenes.
Live match commentary right here on talkSPORT tonight. At the T20 World Cup, despite the backing of Andrea Bocelli, Italy lose to England by 24 runs. Will Jacks made 53 off 22, while Jamie Overton took 3 wickets. It means England are through to the Super 8s out in Sri Lanka. And Wimbledon has rejected player calls for more privacy backstage. That's after Coco Gauff's racket smash in a warm-down area at the Australian Open went viral. She had said she'd tried to find a spot with no cameras to let out her frustrations. There's more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister's promised to act in months, not years, to protect young people from addictive social media platforms. And parents told their children could be forced to isolate for 3 weeks if they're not fully vaccinated against measles. There's more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Whatever the winter weather, Bridgestone Turanza all-season 6 tyres. Guaranteed for 25,000 miles. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Sunny spells and showers. Some of those showers heavy at times. The risk of hail and thunder turning colder from the north.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. For a moment there, I thought Hugo said, despite the batting of Andre Bocelli.
Well, there you go.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
We'll leave it there, shall we?
We shall, yeah.
Anyhow, no, because two of the brothers, there's 2 Aussie-Italian brothers in the team. I can't remember their name, begins with M. Anyway.
He did say he was telling the batsmen time to say goodbye when they were out.
Give them a send-off. Yeah. They're big fans, and the Italian team would play that song on the coach after their victories and stuff. So he heard about this and sent them a message. And
that's nice.
That's the story behind that. Anyway.
He was at the opening ceremony as well.
Yeah. The Weymouth FC Director of Football, Jason Matthews, probably didn't think he'd be coming out of retirement at 50, but he had to the other day. He'll tell us more about that. Mike Bubbins, friend of the show, star of Mammoth. Got some exciting Mammoth news he can bring us. And we're going to talk a bit of Wales rugby as well after another crushing defeat the weekend. And Faraz Noor. Faraz, of course, from Traitors, got to the final. Big Borough fan. They go to Cov tonight. A huge game at the top of the championship. It's live on talkSPORT too. But before all of that, what a day yesterday for Team GB. An historic day for Team GB at the Winter Games with 2 gold medals. Well, effectively 4 gold medals in 2 events. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
We thought we would check in with Amy Williams. She won gold in 2010 in Vancouver and knows all about this event and all the background to it and all the athletes involved. And we first asked her, we caught up with her a bit earlier on, we first asked her what the mood is like out in Cortina.
Oh, the mood is incredible. I think the whole of Great Britain, the whole of British skeleton is just over the moon, so excited that the athletes performed like we knew that they could. And for Matt to bring home 2 medals now and Tabby 1, it's just everyone's wildest dreams. And they've performed so well the whole entire season. The fact that they've managed to do it here at the Olympics is just the icing on the cake.
I wonder if one of the knock-on effects will be people wanting to get involved with skeleton, because you look at the backgrounds of Tabby and Matt. I mean, Tabby was a circus performer,
really,
and Matt really kind of came through rugby, but they were kind of this. It was a sort of pathway, wasn't it, that was offered to them. And I don't know if you were a runner, weren't you? That was your background before 400 metres.
Yeah, so many athletes who have come into the sport have either come through some kind of talent scheme, and we always want powerful speed, that the push start is so important. So the transferable skills that you can put across, and for so many athletes watching these Olympics, I've had messages all on my Instagram of like, we want to have a go. How does my daughter get involved? Or how does my son get involved? Or we want to come to the push track in Bath. And that's just incredible, because we always need a new wave of athletes coming through. These medals would have kept the funding to be able to bring the new talent. So it's so important to harness that. And yes, it is all based in the University of Bath. But to begin with, it's just doing some testing days, seeing what your 30-metre sprint is, your power, your speed. And then when you might be invited onto ice to have a go on an ice camp, and we teach you then how to slide.
Also, our first ever gold on snow, which is almost incredible, really, to think about. But that was a great achievement for Banks and Nightingale.
Oh, absolutely. To then get those gold medals on the snow with the two of them putting down incredible performances. Charlotte and Hugh have done unbelievable. And it was just so good to see that we knew, for example, Charlotte had so much talent and she just missed out, the few days before. So for them to buddy up as teammates and bring home a gold, I mean, it was just Super Sunday, wasn't it? Of just medals just pinging around everywhere. And obviously all the golds, which we clearly love.
What can you remember your first run, Amy? Gone from 400-metre running, because I'm sure there's quite a few people that are asked to convert from different sports, and they go hurtling down on that track in the scouting going, no, not for me.
What a surprise.
Yeah, my very first actual ice runs were with a military ice camp, actually. So back in October of 2002, I went to Lillehammer in Norway, and I just joined. There was about 5 of us civilians who went along, paid our way and had a go. Because at that point, there wasn't these talent schemes. There wasn't any kind of performance pathway. So I just remember you kind of start from halfway, you lay on the sled, someone pushes you off, and you gently trundle on down and hit every single wall multiple times. You're black and blue with bruises. But there's just something that tells you, I don't want to hit that many walls. And then you go down again, and then you get to the top of the track with extra speed. And then you're just trying to perfect. I don't want to hit 15 times. I only want to hit 10. And then I only want to hit 5. And then I don't want to hit at all. And just that, I guess that slight obsession of, I want to sprint faster now. I want to be better in the gym. I want to lift heavier so that I'm more powerful, then I'm more quicker. And the push track training at the University of Bath is our facility within the UK. And, before you know it, you're this full-time athlete who is training daily, multiple times a day as a pure power, speed, explosive throughout your summer life. And then your winter life, you're traveling around the world, learning all the different ice tracks and competing.
We heard before the game started that the curlers, for example, it costs 630 grand. There's a lot of pressure on them, isn't there, to perform, because people say, well, OK, but where are the medals? I suppose these 3 gold medals do help.
And it was very interesting that Matt Weston said afterwards, thanked his coaches, thanked his family and friends, but then said thanks to everybody who's ever bought a lottery ticket, because it's so key for the sport and a lot of the sports out there to kind of justify the funding and increase their funding, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. These athletes, you have to perform like at a world champs to get certain medal positions to be able to qualify for your lottery funding. And that's really the only funding that these athletes have. You can't hold down a job in the summer when you're training full time. So it really means a lot to have UK Sport and the funding that they bring in, the lottery funding of everyone playing their tickets. It really does have a little tiny part of these golds coming in, because these athletes wouldn't be able to train in the way way that they do, we wouldn't be able to fund the sport for the 6 months every single year, and we wouldn't then be able to bring the talent through. So money means medals and medals mean money, and it's just that little catch-22 that you need both for all these high-performing teams to go out there and do what they do with all the winter sports. It does cost a lot of money, and so these medals just are so important to be able to keep that going.
Do you have high hopes of other medals for the rest of the games? Who should we be looking out for, Amy?
Well, I mean, right now is the two-man bobsleigh going through. We've had 2 runs so far from Brad Hall, who probably isn't within the medals of this one, but he's definitely got higher hopes within the 4-man. We've obviously still got curling going on that we still have a chance. I think we still have a few chances to be able to maybe creep up that medal table. I think we're sat in 13th at the moment with those 3 golds.
Often when we have a success in a sport, and you obviously were very successful in it and won us a gold, you often get celebrity offshoots. I wonder if we'll have celebrity skeleton at some point. They did the game, they did the sort of winter sports one, but maybe not. I don't know if you want to send somebody from EastEnders down there on a tea tray. It probably doesn't look like a great idea.
Well, look, we could always have some amazing coaches between me, Tabby, Lizzie Arnold. You know, you've got a lot of very high performance coaches that we could definitely create some kind of celebrity team. So, you know, if there's anyone putting their hands up, then
you're interested. Yeah. Okay, they should speak to your people, definitely. Okay, and just out of interest, when was your last run? Did you ever just do one? Keep your hand in, just go down to Bath and do one for fun, or is that it? Did you put the tray away?
Yeah, I don't even own a skeleton sled anymore. You know, when I retired, our World Championships, February 2012, was the last time I physically ever went down a skeleton sled. And that actually, within Great Britain, you sort of almost accept in our sport, when you retire, that's almost it. It's not like you can just pop down on a Friday night and do it. So, yeah, that was the last time I ever slid was those World Champs. I watch it, and there's always something inside of you that's like, oh, that track looks so lovely to slide. I would love to know what it feels like. And, you know, you have that little bit of, I don't know, something within your heart that is always part of the sport.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, Amy, lovely to talk to you. Enjoy the rest of the games. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
So Amy Williams, Olympic gold medalist in 2010. In Vancouver, and well done to our gold medalist. It's sensational, isn't it, really, to see? Yesterday was amazing. So
it's good. We might get another medal today, later, and
the curling guys are doing all right, I think. So.
I watched a bit of ice skating with Sue. She likes the ice skating.
Have you been watching a bit of ice hockey?
Ice skating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I heard you say ice skating. I just wondered if you've been watching the ice hockey. I'm not going deaf. Ice skating, Mum. No, not ice hockey. They're different, Mum. I did hear what you said.
I've seen a few highlights in the highlights.
You did mention, didn't Ruby Walsh? Why did Ruby Walsh suddenly say, apropos of nothing, there'll never be robot jockeys? Have there been something like Japanese
It's one of Jerry
racing?
Lawton's stories. Don't bet on robots replacing jockeys, racing legend Ruby Walsh says.
Yeah.
Why did he say it? Doesn't really say why he said it.
Something must have happened. There must have been some kind of robotics thing, because it's big in Japan, isn't the racing? I imagine they've tried electric, robot jockeys. So you gave us AI McCoy, and it's kind of been downhill since. Although we've had a few good ones. You get Frankie Det Wiki. I don't even know what that means.
Neither do I.
John Joe 3P O'Neill. That's quite good.
That's not bad. In his yard.
Tesla Piggott. You like that one?
Tesla Piggott.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Sheen Murphy. C3 Perlo.
So we're not up with the technology, so it's too clever for us.
Ryan the Gas says CP3 Perlo. I mean, we don't want footballers, do we? Android at Zenny. Says Craig in Cleckheaton. I had to look up Andrea Adzeni the jockey, which is clearly what
very good.
What Craig
did. Yeah, definitely.
Frankie de Botti. I'm not sure that works, James, on any level.
I'm not sure either, really.
I kind of know what he means. It's not that bad. Go on then if you must. We're looking for pettiness amongst football fans as well, off the Saints fans who've campaigned to have some blue bulbs change on a bridge near their ground, and the councillor finally caved. Although we did subsequently find out from a Saints fan that the Spinnaker was going to be sponsored by Emirates, and that's red and white, and the Pompey fans were up in arms and got it changed to blue. So we're all a bit petty as football fans. So do let us know. Talksport.com, text 1889, tweet TSH and J 03717 223344. A change in drive today. Andy Goldstein's with you. He's alongside his old mate from the Sports Bar, Jason Cundy, is in for Benty today at 4. Then we got our live football, Macclesfield Brentford here on TalkSport, and over on TalkSport 2, Coventry versus Borough. We'll be chatting to Faraz of Traitors fame, big Borough fan, a little bit later on about that. Mike Bubbin still to come, but what's it like at 50 to come out of retirement, maybe reluctantly as a director of football, and playing goal for the team that you're in charge of? We'll find out a little bit later on, or very, very shortly, from Jason Matthews of Weymouth. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Gear up for those darker nights with electrical and lighting offers. Next stop, Tool Station.
So what can Spurs fans expect? Let's find out from someone who played under the man at Udinese. Very good morning to Al Ahly and Nigeria defender William Truce-Dekong. Morning, William.
Good morning, William. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no, thank you for coming on, mate.
Great to see you, mate.
What can Spurs fans expect from Igor then?
Well, we heard a little bit about it in the clip. We had him 2 times at Udinese. He's a manager that likes to play 3-5-2 or a variation of it, from what my experience was. Of course, attacking football. He high back line, tries to press high, can be quite direct, and he's definitely a personality. So if they need someone to shake up the place and get everyone going, then he's definitely the right person for it. So, like mentioned before, the North London derby probably the perfect game to start, and he's definitely also someone who's not intimidated by anything like that. So. A big personality, and he's going to get everyone trying to run through a brick wall. So I think that's probably been my experience with him.
Ask you, William, you mentioned he's a big personality, and you would suggest he's going to have to be to take this job, because when you look at it, what's he going to have to do differently? Do you think, in terms of, you look at the previous coach, there have been some great coaches and some fantastic managers, all the way back, Nuno, Mourinho, Big Ange, all these guys, obviously Thomas Frank. What's he going to have to do differently, do you think?
Now, It says you're probably sick of hearing about it. I'm not. But Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy have their very own podcast. We'll let the guys explain.
Hello, this is Andy Goldstein.
Hey, I'm Jason Cundy.
And we're here to tell you about our brand new podcast, 21 Minutes to Go.
Well, it's not that new, Steve. It's been out for quite some time now, mate. It's about 5-6 months. It's been out for a while, mate.
Anyway, It only lasts 21 minutes, so we never know when the podcast is going to stop.
Could be in the middle of me telling a funny joke, a story.
Or it could be in the middle of me telling a funny anecdote.
Or it could be that time, Stinks, where I had a 2-week ban at talkSPORT for calling the bosses a bunch of...
That's 21 Minutes to Go with me, Andy Goldstein, and Jason Cundy. Available wherever you get your podcast from, with new episodes dropping every Monday and Thursday.
So if you've got a spare 21 minutes today, go and check out the podcast. 21 Minutes to Go with Goldstein and Cundy, available on your favourite podcast provider. You're going to get 3 hours of the fellas today because Jason's alongside Andy on Drive. Now, coming out of retirement at 50... probably can't be easy. I don't know how much prep he'd done, how warmed up our next guest was for this game. But Weymouth played Havant and Waterlooville. And the director of football, Jason Matthews, was called upon to get between the posts. And he joins us now. Hi, Jason.
Hi.
Bit stiff this morning or not? How are you feeling?
No, I feel good, to be fair. A little bit of a ball out the blue, if I'm honest.
Yeah. So there was no sub goalkeeper on the, or were you the designated sub keeper on the bench?
Yeah, basically we were low on numbers, and I said I'll go on the bench. I do play for the England veterans 50s, I sort of go on the bench just as a cover, and I couldn't believe it when obviously the keeper got sent off with 25 minutes to go.
Oh dear. So did you see much of the ball, Jason, in the time you were on?
I had a few touches of the ball. Yeah, probably could have done with putting my boots on the right feet. I come charging down out the stand because we've got quite a big stand at Weymouth, so it's nice to view it from up above. And as soon as Max come running out and seen him take the lad out, and he was on a booking anyway, I was thinking, oh my God. And I sprinted down the stairs about 5 at a time, almost done my Achilles as I was getting to the bottom of the stairs, and all I was thinking in my head is I've got to put my boots on there as quick as I possibly can, because I was ready to go other than that. But at my age, it takes a while to get my laces done up. So I was just thinking, the ref's not going to be too picky with me.
How was the ref about it? Did he sort of say, come on, was he giving you the hurry up?
He didn't, to be fair. And the ref, they didn't seem to pay much attention. Not that I was trying to take my watch off and strip off, and I probably had about 15 layers on to get a load, and I didn't want to get code. So, it just all happened in a blur, as a matter of fact.
So you didn't go up for any corners because you were chasing the game. You were 1-0 down at that point.
I did go up for 2 corners, if I'm honest.
Oh, wow.
But they both went sailing right over my head. So the second corner, I hung right out the back post, and it got whipped in near post. So that just about summed it up for me.
And so you couldn't get back into the game. It ended 1-0, yeah.
Yeah, ended 1-0. We're in a relegation battle. There's no getting away from it. Me and Jamie have been in for about 7 games now. It is like a massive ask, but we believe that we can do it. We've had a good reaction from the lads. Obviously, we have lost the last 2, but we've won. I think we've won 4 out of 7 and a draw. So not disastrous. Quite a good start with the position that we're in. My biggest thing is to obviously try and get some players in, because there's obviously no transfer window at step 3 at this time of the year. So just trying to get that recruitment right, which is not easy at this time of the year.
Are you going to have to play the next game? Is the keeper suspended?
Yeah, he's got a 1-game ban. I have been flat out this morning trying to get a keeper on loan, if I'm honest.
I see, okay.
But if you don't, will you start?
Well, I'll have no choice, will I?
Wow.
So it'll be right on me, but I'm hoping. I've got some good friends around that help me out with the local Football League clubs.
As it stands, you'd be a great Weymouth trivia question in the Weymouth FC quiz, because how many spells did Jason Matthews have Weymouth as a player, and they can now say 3 because you've been at the club a couple of times before. I mean, you played a lot of games for the team over the years, haven't you? But yeah, this is your 3rd spell between the posts.
Yeah, it was like, I'm not going to lie, I did have the little buzz come back as soon as I crossed the white line.
Yeah, of course.
There's a really, you can't beat that feeling of playing. There's for me, there's no substitute for playing. But I am enjoying the role that I've been given at Weymouth. But yeah, I've been a player, come back as a player, then was player manager. And then I've seen off about 5 managers as goalkeeping coach, and left when Steve come in because of the travel, because I'm Bristol based. And had the call out of nowhere just before Christmas saying, could I come back as director of football just to calm it down a little bit and just steady the ship, really. Obviously, knowing the club like I do, it's just because I've got an affinity with them, I just couldn't turn it down, if I'm honest.
And did you say you play England under 50s, yeah? Over 50s, yeah. Not under 50s. That's just England.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The veterans, and there's no real. I don't think there's too many football league players that play in it, but it's really good. I played at St Ives last week, but yeah, it's a brilliant thing to be into, and it's my first season, obviously, of getting selected. So yeah, it's another good thing. So we've got a trip to Serbia coming up.
Wow.
Where we're playing Denmark and Italy, I believe. So yeah, that's really good. And then obviously that's a lead up to the Four Nations, which is held at Scotland's training ground this year, I believe.
Wow! So the England vets team is pretty successful, yeah? That's all right.
Apparently so. So yeah, a little bit of pressure there. And like I said, it's my first. I made 2 appearances, one against Bangladesh and one against Wales at Christmas.
Oh, good stuff. Well, look, lovely to talk to you, and let's see if you do go in and play the next game and then go up and score a goal, then we'll definitely have a chat with you again, Jason. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.
All the best.
Thank you, John. Cheers.
Jason Matthews,
brilliant.
Weymouth FC Director of Football turned keeper when his keeper got sent off the other day. Mick Sully's been in touch. Robot Thornton. Yeah, that works, doesn't it? That one works.
That does
well
work,
done. Yeah, the jump jockey. Well done. AI. Robot jockeys, which Ruby Walsh says will never happen. But we still don't know why anybody even asked him that question. Now, we're going to turn to rugby next. We'll have a chat with Johnny May from an England point of view later on. But let's get a fan's take on the Six Nations with a Wales focus. He's a massive Wales rugby fan. He's the star and creator of Mammoth, the excellent sitcom.
Brilliant.
And he's got some news on the Mammoth front, which he'll bring us. And he's a comedian. It's Mike Bubbins joining us for a chat next. And Faraz of Traitors fame will be looking ahead to Cov versus beloved Borough this evening, live on talkSPORT 2.
Headlines this morning: Yusuf Chamiti struck a hat-trick as Rangers pulled closer to Scottish Premier League leaders Hearts with a 4-2 win at Ibrox. He'd scored 4 in 28 for Rangers before yesterday's hat-trick. Arsenal have endured a fresh injury blow in the shape of defender Ricardo Calafiori, forced to pull out of the starting 11 minutes before their win over Wigan. Wolves and Arsenal. Wolves coming up this week for the Gunners. Manager Mikel Arteta admitted he is worried about the situation.
Yes, and especially because we are going through. Before it was the strikers, then it was the defenders, now it's the midfielders. But we are still coping with that. But yeah, we need some players back and fit, and to give us as well not only numbers but different options in relation to the opponents that we have. So the quicker they are, the better.
We're still coping, did he say there? I mean, seriously, when it comes to injuries, Mikel and Arsenal fans shouldn't expect any sympathy whatsoever with the size of the squad they have got. You know, I know they've had some injuries, but the squad is humongous.
No, listen, I think they're North London rivals. If there's any sympathy, and I doubt there will be from opposition football fans, but if there's any sympathy for a team with injuries, I would suggest Tottenham might just be top of the list.
Yes.
If there's any getting thrown about.
Yeah, completely agree. He's not going to be pushed to name a starting 11 and a squad of internationals on the bench either, is he?
Mikel Arteta says Arsenal need some of their injured midfielders back and quickly, but he'll find no solidarity with Jeff Stelling.
We're still coping, did he say there? I mean, seriously, when it comes to injuries, Mikel and Arsenal fans shouldn't expect any sympathy whatsoever with the size of the squad they have got.
Calafiori, White have joined Ødegaard, Havertz and Marino in the treatment room. Arsenal go to Wolves in the Premier League live on talkSPORT this Wednesday to the Six Nations, where Scotland centre and legend Hugh Jones has told us even he doesn't know what Finn Russell's about to do, and that's what makes him such a special player.
Yeah, on the day, look, everything he touched turned to gold. He went down the short side for Ben White's try, broke a couple of tackles.
Yeah.
He's pretty slippery. But yeah, he was on good form and big part of our win.
The freewheeling try scorer won't be drawn on Scotland's Six Nations chances for the Championship following their thumping win over England. And a lot of people have been wondering how you get into those Winter Olympic events. Team GB gold medal winner Tabby Stoker was doing circus performing when she answered an Instagram ad for UK Sports Talent ID.
And I wasn't sure what I was signing up for, but they did a lot of kind of basic testing to begin with of, you know, how fast you can run, how high you can jump, and then got picked for skeleton.
And at the T20 World Cup, Steve Smith has joined up with the Australian squad, replacing the injured Josh Hazelwood. More at talksport.com.
Yes, good afternoon. Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Later on, Faraz from Traders joins us, a big Borough fan, to look ahead to tonight's game against Coventry. Towards the end of the show, we'll also preview Macclesfield versus Brentford this evening in the FA Cup. That one's on talkSPORT. And Johnny May joining us, former England wing, to reflect on that Calcutta Cup defeat. Sticking with the rugby, our next guest, the huge fan of Wales rugby, a podcaster, comedian, sitcom creator and star, the excellent Mammoth on the BBC, which is heading to the States, a US version.
Brilliant.
So here to chat about all that and more is Mike Bubbins. Good afternoon, Bubs.
Hello, chaps. How are you? All right.
Oh, yeah, we should congratulate you first on the Mammoth USA. How far down the road are we with it?
It's early days, but BBC Studios over in Los Angeles have been working with Fox Television in America. And yes, I think there's people in place, and I may or may not have read the scripts. And yes, it's exciting. It's exciting. But we'll see. You know what TV is like. It We've got everything crossed.
As a concept, it did. I mean, I remember we saying you at the time when you first sat in this studio and told us what it was, and we've heard that. It felt universal. It felt like something that would have a life just beyond the UK.
Yeah, well, that's what I wrote. I wrote it. Obviously, it was a BBC Wales pilot. Then when we went to the series, it was BBC Wales with BBC Network. But I didn't want to make it too Welsh or local. I think it's a really fun story. It's a really fun concept and setup. So yeah, we wanted to make it like a universal appeal. The response was brilliant, which is really nice. And obviously they recommissioned fairly straight away with the BBC, and then we got the news about the American thing a few months ago. We had to sit tight on it until last week.
Yeah. He's a supremely terrible bloke, isn't he? I bet a lot of people think he's great. If only he was really around today.
Yeah,
I think he's great.
It's a bit like the pub landlord, Mike, isn't it? There's probably a constituency saying, "I wish people were still like that now."
Yeah, definitely.
Well, do you know, I think when I write him though, I because he's based a lot on sort of me and my dad and my PE teachers in my youth and all that sort of stuff. He is. I mean, I like to say, I think I said this early on, Paul, he does a lot of the wrong things, but for the right reasons. He's not I don't think he's a bad bloke. He just doesn't get it. He just doesn't, we've all got that relative at Christmas dinner thinking, don't say it, for God's sake, don't say it. Yeah. Right? And he's just one of those, isn't he?
I tell you what I want to ask you, though, about the theme tune of Mammoth. It's by Mike Post, a very famous...
Wrote Hill Street Blues.
Yeah, and I think the Rockford...
Amongst others.
Did you get him to specifically do this, or was this a piece of music that he had? I mean, because it really works with the style of the titles. It's brilliant.
I had a radio show on Radio Wales back in lockdown, just after lockdown, or maybe it's the end of it, and I was having a chat with... I wanted the 70s icons and guests. So I asked to speak to him, even though a lot of people wouldn't have known him by name, because I loved all of his stuff. He did the Rockwood Files, LA Law, NYPD Blue, Quantum Leap, the A-Team, and on and on and on. And all these massive 70s and 80s theme tunes were all him. So it's supposed to be a little 5-minute pre-record, and we ended up chatting for about an hour, because he could see I was generally interested. I wasn't just sort of ticking boxes and stuff. And he said, well, Mammoth's in the early stages then. And he said, well, keep in touch. And if you let me know how you get on. So when I got the commission, I got in touch with him. I emailed him. I said, obviously, we can't afford a Mike Post theme tune, but I thought I'd let you know. And he came back and said, I'll do it for you.
Wow, brilliant.
So, yeah, he did that for us. And it's brilliant. And he came over for a game of golf then last summer.
Wow.
Amazing.
We had a game of golf, and it was just lovely. Yeah, really nice.
For those, I mean, I find it hard to believe you had a good few series now and you had a Christmas special this year. But for those that don't know, Tony Mammoth, 1979, PE teacher, takes the school skiing, ends up in an avalanche and basically gets dug out now. So it's a man with... Can you imagine a sports teacher with 1979 sensibilities living now? And it's an absolute minefield, isn't it? And
he's a man of simple pleasures. He just wants his old life back. Drive his old car, wear his old clothes, and life like it was. So, yeah. Obviously, with that sort of thing, you can go badly wrong. You can end up with a sort of Alf Garnett. So we were very conscious very early on not to make him a racist. And I think I said... He's the sort of person who would open a door for a woman, but he wouldn't pinch their bum. So he's that sort of...
It's got a great cast too.
Yeah, excellent cast. Are you doing some more, Mike? Is there talk of that? Yeah. Oh, good.
So we're writing the next series now. So the next series will be out in the autumn. At the moment, it's, I think, 5 eps. After the first, they give us a short run for the first series. Then commissioned 9 eps on the back of that, but we just didn't have time to make 9. So we did 3 in the Christmas special before Christmas, and we're done writing the next 5 now.
Brilliant. Oh, we look forward to that, and good luck with the American one. It sounds good. Now we put it off as long as we can. You're a massive fan of Wales.
Go on.
Wales rugby. It was another tough result, but I've read a few pieces subsequently saying I can see the green shoots, I can see the improvements. Can you, Mike?
Well, I was there yesterday. My wife. Can I see it? The players are there, right, Paul? The players have always been there. On the under-20s, had a decent result the day before. They did the under-20s did all right last week before the England game. So there's young players coming through, but the structure, Paul, is just an absolute shambles. Like the Welsh Rugby Union, they just don't know what they're doing, and no one else knows what they're doing, saliently. So it's in disarray. I think people think that people stayed away because of the results. That ground's been packed for years. I've been there since 1982. I've never missed I've missed a couple of games, but I've never gone a whole season without seeing a game down there. And I've never seen it like it was yesterday. And a lot of that's people just deliberately boycotting it, which I wish they wouldn't do, because I love the players, I love the team, I love the Welsh rugby team. I think we need to support the boys as much as we can. But it's just everything above that. The sort of the structures in Welsh rugby and the people running that are, I don't want to say inept because I'm on radio.
Yeah.
But they certainly, if you see those player ratings, like someone's will get 6 out of 10, this person gets 4 out of 10. Yeah, I'd love to know what the ratings for the Welsh Rugby Union would be.
Is there any chance of a shake-up there, new blood coming in, or is it like...
No, it's turkey's one for Christmas, isn't it? The only people who can sort of reorganise that are the people that we want to get rid of in the first place. So there's an awful lot of blazers there. There's an awful lot of people who have got no background, particularly in business. There's, don't seem to the outsiders like myself to care much beyond their sort of their free tickets and their all the perks that come with it. But as a dad of a son who loves rugby, and I coach kids rugby, I sponsor women's rugby and men's rugby and kids rugby and disabled rugby and deaf rugby, and I love the sport. I love everything about it. It's just so disappointing at the moment that the things are going like they are.
Is the appetite still there at grassroots then in Wales? Do you sense that that's not changed, or is the fact that the team are struggling so much, you think, is eating into that as well?
To an extent. I mean, I still go there on a Sunday, and there's hundreds and hundreds of kids playing rugby every Sunday, and then Saturday there's club rugby all over the place in Wales. A lot of the schools still play rugby. So I mean, it's not like it was 30 years ago, but then life's not like it was 30 years ago. Kids are into other stuff, so I don't think it's because of the results. It's certainly not helping. I think there's a bit of a readjustment there going forward in the future, but a lot of kids want to do other things now. There wasn't an option maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago. But I think player-wise, it's healthy, and the young kids still love it, and there's lots of girls playing now, which wasn't happening when I was a kid, which is great. But it just needs to be organised better, Paul. We just need... one of the stuff shirts was talking yesterday, and just talking about the plan, kept mentioning the plan. What is the plan then? Just tell us what the plan is, because no one knows what your plan is or how you're going to accomplish it. So, yeah, and we're a little country, we've always punched above our weight. We've always sort of play better than we should play, with everything else going on. But I got faith though, mate. I never lose. But it's the hope that kills you, isn't it? It's the hope that kills you.
Yeah. I mean, we're making the point. It's a bit. I mean, it does feel like, in terms of what you've described in the hierarchy, a bit like West Indies cricket. And you need a strong West Indies, and you need a strong Wales in rugby. So I think. Well,
I was up last week. I was at the London Welsh Club for the England game. It's a lot of my friends are England fans. Yeah, of course the Six Nations needs a strong Wales. I don't think I don't think English fans want to roll over Wales. I don't think France want to roll over Wales. We've got no easy games. Italy's going to be tough. Scotland's going to be tough. Ireland's going to be tough. So yeah, I don't. It's frustrating at the moment.
You've got your podcast as well. Yeah, podcast you do. I caught some of your one with Gavin Henson. And Gavin, funny, people make a value judgment. You kind of see all the headlines and all the stories. He came in and saw us a little while ago. He's a lovely lad. He's a great bloke. He's good value, isn't he?
I got a series on BBC Wales on the iPlayer called Scrum 5, Top Fives. Notoriously difficult to search for because it's Scrum with a V, Scrum 5.
Yes.
But yeah, everyone I've asked to be on there has come on, from like Gareth Edwards to Sam Warburton, Jamie Roberts. But I was really fascinated with Gavin. I've been for a long time. And he came on, doesn't do interviews. He's famously obviously, he's been there with you. He's quite a shy bloke. The number of people who got in touch after that to say they've changed their opinion about him as a bloke is amazing. He was a great guest. We got Max Boyce tonight. Max Boyce, come on.
Yeah, no, that's good. He's been with us a few times. He's good value as well. You'll enjoy that.
He's great. Yeah.
So when are we going to see the remainder of the Mammoths? When you reckon they'll go out, Mike?
So Mammoths out in the autumn. They haven't said when yet. So Mammoths in the autumn. I'm on tour in the autumn. We got a few little bits and bobs on the go. So it's all
good.
It's all busy, but nice to come and talk to you, Lance. You've been big supporters since day one, which I really appreciate.
I remember you. You were in the studio. You said off air, "This is the premise. You pitched it almost," and we thought, what a great idea. And you were at quite an early stage at that point.
That's before we. Yeah, that was very early on.
Well, it just proves sometimes that you can deliver a good idea and see it through. So excellent. Cheers, Mike. All the best.
Thanks, Lance.
We'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks for everything. Take care.
Mike Bubbins there. All the mammoths are available on the iPlayer. And if you haven't caught them, they are very funny. It works very... And I think you're right. Mike's got the balance right. He's kind of... There's elements of him that are quite terrible, but there is a sort of sweetness to it, isn't there, really? He's sort of on his side at times. It's the classic sitcom fish out of water, of course.
Funny with the headmaster.
Yeah. Worth checking out if you've not had a chance. And it will bring back memories of
you'll enjoy it,
some of your sports teachers, folks, as well over the years. Faraz, of Traitors fame, Faraz Noor joins us next. Big Borough fan, they go to Cov tonight. Top of the table clash in the Championship. It's live on talkSPORT 2. And we'll chat about it next. We're here with Tool Station. Get winter ready. We're heating and insulation essentials. Next stop, Tool Station.
Let's go to Alan, who's a Man City fan. Right, Al?
Yes, good evening. I've got a little song for you at the end for the Arsenal fans as well. But do you know what, Arsenal? Man City are a snake, and they've had their foot on our necks where we've been weak, and they should have cut our heads off and buried us in the sand, and they've not. And now we're going to come back and beat them, and we're going to win this title. And in a couple of weeks after we play them at the Etihad, when we give them a footballing lesson, you can ring me up and I'll come on the show again, because Man City are a better team to watch than what Arsenal are. And he's coming on. The Premier League trophy's coming back to the Etihad. And listening to these Arsenal fans tonight, we are right in there, Ned. All the memories of all the years previous are all coming flooding back. And we're going to win the league. And I'll give you my song now.
Go on in. Is it clean?
Crumbling again, ole, ole. Crumbling again, ole, ole. Crumbling again. Crumbling again. Crumbling again, ole, ole. Can't wait to sing that.
All right, Al. Listen, Man City fans are... if they're listening to the show tonight, Man City fans, I think they'll be thinking...
Do you know what it does do, though?
Tell you what.
It gives us... We have got a proper title race.
Yeah.
A proper title race. It's not a bad point for Arsenal. I still don't think Man City are quite the Man City that we've seen win a title.
No, but
they could do. They could.
They're looking all right. They're looking all right. You know, Diaz, Gay at the back again. O'Reilly, fantastic. Nunes has played all right.
Mate.
Rodri, you know, mate.
I'm not. Look,
you know, they've signed Semenyo, Haaland scoring, Foden.
Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on Talk Sport. Coming up at 4, it is Drive with Andy Goldstein, Jason Cundy alongside him this afternoon. We're going to bring you Macclesfield Brentford in the FA Cup at 7 on Talk Sport. And on Talk Sport 2, Coventry versus Borough. Top two teams in the Championship, 2 points between them. Carve having a bit of a blip at the moment. The goals have dried up. They haven't won in 3. So, tough old time to have Borough coming along. Let's look at the game now with Borough fan, Traitors finalist, Faraz Noor. Hi, Faraz.
Oh, then you're right.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. So you must be feeling quite confident going, even despite the fact you're going to Coventry, you must be feeling quite confident.
Oh, feeling very confident. Obviously, Coventry winless in the last 3. So I've just read as well, Kim said he's approaching this game like any
you have these situations where a new manager comes in. You never quite know what you're going to get coming in from overseas, but it's worked out remarkably well, isn't it, with Kim Helberg?
100%, yeah. I just think the way he's been playing, attack on attack, all gas, no brakes, it's been absolutely wonderful. Not only for us, but just as a viewer, just to watch, the football's been absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, both teams, Millwall are not that far behind both teams, so it is a very, very important game. Whoever wins tonight will have especially if Middlesbrough win, then they'll have a clear lead over the third place. That'll be quite handy at this point of the season.
Oh, 100%. You can't go wrong. And I think Coventry obviously had a hefty lead earlier on, so I don't see us bottling that. Fingers crossed if we get there. So, all looking promising at this minute.
What was the first sort of Borough side for as you got into when you were a kid, when you started supporting the team?
Mine was probably Tony Mowbray's side. So when you got the likes of Adoma and so on, I think the football there was exciting as well. But it's just lovely to see that we're sort of back on the up as well. Because I remember when we were in the Prem with players like Ramirez and things like that as well. But obviously we didn't last too long. So hopefully next season when we're there, we last a bit longer.
Are you ready? Often that thing is, we've come up a season too early or whatever. Some fans, I mean, do you feel like you're ready? You look at the squad and you think you make a fist of it in the Premier League?
I think the Prem is extremely tough, especially now the quality of players. So I think we defos will need to get on the recruit. But when you've got players like Hackney, who just seem a cut above, I think being able to hold on to the likes of him, I think would be absolutely major.
I mean, every window comes. About the last 4 windows, he's been linked with moves.
It'll be difficult in the summer.
You must be absolutely delighted when the window finally closes. But, I mean, if he comes up with Borough, you sense he'll stick around for at least the season, because he is a man in demand, isn't he?
100%, yeah. He's a man in demand, and he'll have very lucrative offers. But I feel as if being a Borough lad, being from Redcar, I think he really will want to stick with just that season, see how they get on. And to be fair, I think that would be the best way.
I think the Championship teams must be encouraged by what's happened this season, though. Leeds do look like they'll stay up, and Sunderland are definitely going to stay up. So
yeah.
It's more encouraging.
It's true, because it must be a bit deflating when you keep seeing the same 3 that went up immediately go down again. So, it's bucked the trend this time, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And I think not only just seeing the other end as well of the big clubs, you've got the likes of West Ham and Tottenham now struggling as well. You never know. Yeah. Tottenham might be in the Championship. Olympic Stadium.
Tell me about
Olympic Stadium, no good.
I'm looking over my shoulder constantly as a Tottenham fan. How's life changed for you since Traitors?
No, life's been cushy, pal, obviously. It's been nice, been enjoying it. There's been a lot of different opportunities, like being able to come onto platforms like talkSPORT, which I've absolutely loved, took into my stride. But the reception's been so positive. Everyone's been really nice, so I've been welcomed it with open arms.
You weren't sort of smarting from the way the final all panned out, were you? I know a few people got a bit annoyed about it, the way it all happened.
I feel sorry for all the tellies getting screamed at. Everyone's been coming up to me saying, we've been screaming at the tellies for you, screaming at the tellies for you. So I feel a bit sorry for them, but no, I was really glad that Stephen and Rachel won. Deserved winners, glad he split it. So, yeah, it was all smiles from me.
Are you still playing cricket as well? You play a bit of club cricket, so you still out there playing at the moment?
Just need dust off the gear for winter nets. I play for Mask, and we recently just got promoted to the Prem of the NYSD, so we're in for a tough season, but it'll definitely be good for us to be back there.
And who I was going to say to you, my mind's gone blank all of a sudden. Oh, yeah, have you been watching the World Cup for us? Have you been catching up with the T20 World Cup?
Yeah, been watching it. Was quite sad yesterday. Pakistan got absolutely hammered by India, which, to be fair, I wasn't really surprised at. And then today, Italy, Grant Stewart put a good shift in, didn't he? So give England another scare, like they had with Nepal, but they'll just get through. To be fair, I was quite disappointed that they lost again to Windies as well, because I feel as they were cruising at one point, but when the spinners came on, they obviously struggled a bit. So, but at least they'll be through in the Super 8. So
it's West Indies' strong point, though, T20.
They've got some
tremendous players.
The Aussies have currently got 172 for 5 against Sri Lanka, and Andy he said it was a very easy catch. They just put Maxwell down, didn't
too costly.
He's gone now, though, isn't he? Yeah, but we'll see how that one pans out.
I was going to say, usually he's not one to drop, is he? You don't really want to drop Maxwell.
No, not ideally, no.
Finally, boxing, do you have a great love? We're going to head over to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next. They've got the press conference coming up a bit later for the Makhmudov Tyson Fury fight. I mean, you pleased to see him back for us?
Of course, yeah. Pleased to see him back for about the gazillionth time. But you know what? A world of boxing with Fury's always a better world of boxing. I feel he's class entertainment. He can leave you on tenterhooks with some of the stuff he says, but yeah, good to see him back, and I think he walks through Makhmudov, to be honest.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. That's big. He's got bigger fish to fry along the road. It's going to be interesting to see how that division shakes down, isn't it? But for now, for us, enjoy the game tonight. Good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure, and nice to see you both.
Take care. There we are. That's Faraz Noor there, the Traitors finalist and big Borough fan. Talking of boxing, don't miss DAZN's stacked schedule with fights every week, and this weekend delivers the big one, 3 fight nights, one unmissable weekend only on DAZN. It all begins live from Nottingham on Saturday. It's a fierce rivalry reignites and highly anticipated rematch between Lee Wood and Josh Warrington. Then later that evening, live from Vegas, the high-stakes clash as Ryan Garcia chases his first world title against Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight world title. And then Clarissa Shields is back. She faces Franchon Cruz-Dezan in a undisputed heavyweight rematch on Sunday. You can sign up to DAZN Ultimate, that's DAZN, and get all these fights plus a minimum of 12 plus pay-per-views a year, including Garcia v Barrios at no extra cost. You can watch all those fights only on DAZN.
Boxing updates on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
Labour MP, they say, listen, Keir, your position is untenable. This is all about appointing that rat, Peter Mandelson.
We've now had another resignation from number 10. The plot is thickening, the noose is tightening.
His failings are internal. He's useless, incompetent, has no political judgment.
This is all part of Starmer's reset, getting rid of his inner circle. So Chris Wormold, we think fairly reluctantly, has stepped down.
What an absolutely crazy week for Keir Starmer. His second cabinet secretary, gone. His third chief of staff, gone. His fourth director of communications, gone.
Breaking news on the robot jockey front, Andy. I'll bring you that shortly.
Oh, good.
But first, Hugo Schonbrau has the sports headlines.
Thanks, Paul. Good afternoon. Arsenal's hopes of pulling off the quadruple are still alive, but are they feeling the pressure with just a 4-point gap at the top of the Premier League? Martin Keown reckons they've had to come through some tough tests recently.
Credit to Brentford in that game that they played. I've seen the opponents from both teams the last 2 matches. Sunderland, I thought, were quite magnificent. Brentford, probably even better.
Arsenal head to Wolves on Wednesday night. That game is live and exclusive on talkSPORT before visiting Spurs on Sunday. It's understood Tottenham's new head coach Igor Tudor will be bringing in 3 additions to his coaching staff. It's believed Ivan Jarvicic will be coming in as an assistant coach. The former Juve boss has signed a deal in North London till the end of the season. Elsewhere, England are through at the Cricket World Cup to the Super 8 after beating Italy. Sam Curran says the team knows they need to improve, but Steve Harmison is feeling chipper about their chances.
It looks like England are going to be in with Sri Lanka, New Zealand and Pakistan. That's not a bad Super 8 groups when you look at South Africa, India, probably Australia and the West Indies. I think England have got a nice little route potentially to try and get to the semi-finals.
And former Olympic champion Amy Williams has told us Team GB's 2 skeleton goals out at the Winter Olympics are huge for the future of the sport.
I've had messages all on my Instagram of like, we want to have a go. How does my daughter get involved? Or how does my son get involved? Or we want to come to the push track in Bath. And that's just incredible because we always need a new wave of athletes coming through.
Team GB's men are currently in a nail biter against Norway in the curling. There's more on our website at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister's promised to act in months, not years, to protect young people from social media. And a measles outbreak could see unvaccinated pupils kept away from schools in a hotspot location. There's more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With a huge range of premium brands available, we've got what you need to drive away happy every time. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Sunny spells and showers, some of those showers heavy at times, the risk of hail and thunder, turning colder from the north.
Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Just before we give you our bet builder, robot jockeys, Andy.
Yes, what about them?
Ruby Walsh was asked by The Star, would we ever see them in racing? And he said no. The only reason it would have come up is because Paul Edwards has been in touch on Twitter. He says, they already have them in Dubai. They do the camel racing.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. But have you seen them? Even though they're robots, it's a bit Michael Bentine's potty time. Look, that's what they look like. They put the silks on, the equivalent of, but of course the hats just sit on the top of the outfit, so it does look a bit Michael Bentine. Ask your granddad, kids. But, until 2005, they used to use kids. Not great. But they decided enough was enough in 2005. And so, the little robots. So we're never going to see it at Cheltenham, are we?
I doubt it. So. No, it seems unlikely.
Thank you, Paul, for letting us know. Anyway, time for today's bet builder with our friends at Paddy Power. Ben Steele is back. We're going to look ahead to tomorrow night in the Champions League qualifiers. A bit of jeopardy. It's Jose versus Real Madrid, Benfica versus Real Madrid in Lisbon. It should be lively. Good afternoon, Ben.
Hi, how you doing? Sorry, I don't have any more to offer on the robot jockeys, but I might have to get onto the trade and see if there's any price on them.
See if there's any price, yeah, man. Imagine that the first robot jockey at Cheltenham would be. We've had Robot Thornton, we've had all of them. We've had R2D Tory, we've had the lot already. So it's probably worth explaining how the bet builder works, Ben.
Sure, yeah. So we're going to pull this together into 5 selections, one each from each of us, one from your producer, and then one that's a popular pick amongst the Paddy's punters. We'll put that into a bet builder on the game, and if we're lucky enough to have found a winner, we'll be donating those winnings to the Attitude Foundation and do a lot of great work across the country looking at helping out with the LGBTQ community.
This format is a bit flawed, though. These two teams met in the last game, didn't they?
They did.
And it was an amazing game.
It was an amazing game.
But even so, why should they be playing each other now?
Fred Trubin scoring the goalkeeper,
yeah.
of course.
Brilliant.
It wasn't Fred Truman, but it was certainly Truman. So I've done a bit of research. I broke down a bit of a lifetime. Rather than doing the normal both teams to score or whatever, I've gone with Freddie Valverde to have 2+ shots. Apparently, in the last 21 La Liga matches, he's recorded 2 or more shots in 10 matches. So that would suggest he likes to get forward and have a crack. So I'm gone with that one.
He definitely does.
Yeah, look, you've kind of stolen a little bit of my thunder there. I was on a similar line there. He doesn't score very many of these shots. He only got his first goal of the season at the weekend, but that doesn't mean it's not a bad pick. Obviously, you've done your research there as well, and I would say that if they're chasing a result, he came off at the weekend and was replaced by Brahim Diaz, who's obviously a little bit more sort of attacking as well. So if that rolls over for Super Sub, you're in a good spot too.
Okay, Andy, you have gone for
I did go for both teams to score because they did in the previous
It's easily see this being a draw, maybe Madrid getting it done at their place.
Madrid will go through.
You would think so.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, Andy, you're presumably, obviously, you said there's that 4-2 game with Fred Truman or Jeff Boycott scoring the goal there.
Yeah, that's it.
You're presumably well aware that every time these two teams have faced each other in a competitive fixture, both teams to score has come in. I will say, slight caveat there, that Ferenc Puskas and Eusebio did score in the last game before the one the other week. So it's maybe not quite as one there, but yeah, as you say, 4-2 last time out. There's a fair few goals knocking around.
They were two pretty decent players.
Producer has gone producer Sean Mbappe to score any time.
Yeah, the modern Ferenc Puskas, perhaps.
Yeah.
By far and away the Champions League top scorer. He's got 5 more goals than Harry Kane, who's second on the list. He's got Mbappe's got 13 in 7, and I was looking up. He's basically a goal a game for Real Madrid as well. 82 goals in 90. So he's quite rightly the favourite in the markets there.
Again, I wouldn't be too sure about this one. I know the punters, the popular one amongst the Paddy punters is the Real Madrid win. As this is 2 legs, you know what Madrid can be like. They might just play it safe and get them back to the Bernabeu.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm probably similar there, but I'd say they may be looking to try and get a little bit of revenge on Mourinho. He obviously knocked them out of. They'd have skipped this round entirely if they'd avoided defeat in Portugal in the last time out. So they're looking for a little bit of revenge, and the punters aren't expecting lightning to strike twice here. No.
And what have you gone with, Ben?
So I've got Nicolas Otamendi to make 2 or more fouls. It's kind of tied in with with producer's pick, to be fair. Benfica play a fairly sort of high line. They stuck with that in the game earlier in the week. And if you're chasing after Mbappe and Vinicius, I reckon you'd probably get a couple wrong. Otamendi likes to get stuck in, so I'm backing that.
And what are we looking at then if this all comes off for us?
Yeah, so that's that combines in at just over 11-1, meaning if we're lucky enough to find a winner, we'll be donating £123, including the stake, to the Attitude Foundation. And a reminder again that the Valverde, Mbappe and Otamendi picks will roll over to the player coming on if any of those 3 lads are subbed off.
Excellent. Nice one. Thank you very much, Ben.
No problem. Chat to you in a bit. Cheers, guys.
Ben still there from Paddy Power. That's Paddy's bet builder for today. Minimum odds 1 to 5 per leg. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Good game.
I kind of thought Igor Tudor would come into Spurs and work with what they had. Justin Cochran, I know he'd been an assistant with Thomas Frank, but
big at Brentford.
He has gone. Johnny Heiting has been there for about 2 weeks.
Thanks.
And he's out the door. Tudor's been allowed to bring in 3 coaches of his own, getting his feet under the table. So we'll see how he does. But, I mean, all he's got to do is keep them up, basically. I didn't think I'd be saying that at the start of the season. All Igor Tudor's got to do is keep them up. So we'll see what happens. North London derby, of course, on Sunday week. Andy, anything else you want to share with the class today?
Yes. I saw a picture in the paper this morning. Kim Jong-un, the president of North Korea.
Not the plumber.
Not the plumber.
I'm not sure you'd employ a plumber with that name, would you?
Not really. He's just opened a new beach resort in North Korea.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking, I can't wait to go there. It looks really fun.
Yeah.
Imagine. Apparently, it's very popular with Russian tourists.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, that's right. I saw a story about that today. A lot of Russians are going to North Korea. It's just like the old days, isn't it?
It's incredible.
They probably like the current days. People are really getting stuck into the robot jockeys.
Are they?
Lizzie Kel3PO, says Ben. Moisheen Murphy. like a machine Murphy.
That's rubbish.
We got Paulie Malignaggi. That's probably how he says the word machine, so maybe you can do that from Owen. He's on tomorrow. We don't want that one. Dalek Thompson, the racing commentator.
That's good.
That's quite good.
Very good.
Tomo. Lester Pigbot. That sounds really horrible, Jack, in South Yorkshire. So there we are. Oiled Machine Murphy. We got a few of those. Thank you very much. Harry. That's it. What about this? Talk about pettiness amongst football fans. I'm a Birmingham fan and I refuse to stay in a villa.
Yeah, brilliant.
Always a hotel. Thank you very much for that.
I knew Jill Scott was multi-talented, but this headline I saw yesterday really took my eye.
Oh, yeah.
It says here, why Jill Scott should be hailed the new Queen of Soul.
Oh, yeah, that's a different Jill
Different
Scott.
Jill Scott, I realised that. Yeah.
Yes, there was that we're talking about VAR now. We're all conditioned for VAR. Even our own Danny Murphy was on commentary in that game, and when Tammy Abraham scored, he watched it back and he says, "I think he's going to be offside." And then there was a beat, and he went, "We can't be, can you? There's no VAR because you're just so conditioned to it, aren't you? Even when you're sitting there knowing the rules." I refuse to wear anything red. And even when I get multi-packs of boxer shorts or socks, I instantly throw the red ones in the bin because it's a bit too close to Manchester United, Liverpool and Arsenal, says. Put his name on this. A big Chelsea fan, apparently. I refused a red car, a red hire car, as it's the colour of Swindon Town, says the Oxford fan.
Racing a red car.
No, he won't go to red car.
That's bad.
Ultimate football pettiness. Me refusing to use the word Wednesday instead of... I always refer to it as the day after Tuesday, says Graham the Blade. Won't even say the word, what day are you coming round? Well, I'll come round the day after Tuesday and the one before Thursday. That is very petty. The reason we're doing this is some Southampton fans had some blue lamps on a bridge near St Mary's that they petitioned the council to change. We've subsequently discovered that the Spinnaker was going to be red and white, an Emirates sponsorship, and they were all up in arms about that, the Pompey fans. So let's say everybody's as petty as each other. We get the idea. Talksport.com, text 1889, tweet TS8, H&J to get in touch. After 4 o'clock today, you'll be updated by the press conference for Tyson Fury, Matt Madoff at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spencer Oliver and Gareth A. Davis are there. They're going to join us for a quick chat in a moment to set the scene. Then we'll enter the world of women's football. Another interesting weekend. We had a 10-goal thriller in the Villa Spurs game. Angelina will tell us more about that. Johnny May.
I've lost interest.
What? Because Chelsea aren't doing very well. Johnny May's going to join us for an England rugby chat, bit of Six Nations. That's all to come. We're here with Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station.
Thomas Tuchel signing a contract, is it because of the fact that the FA were concerned he was going to go somewhere else?
Listen, I think it is. You know, I certainly think he was on Manchester United's list. Who knows, maybe he would have been on Tottenham's list as well. And I think that's why they had to get this done, because what you don't want, if you're the FA, and if you're an England fan, you don't want Thomas Tuchel going into the World Cup with constant speculation that he could be leaving for a Premier League club job at the end of the tournament. I think getting that out of the way, he can focus on the job in hand. I don't think England will win the World Cup. I think there's a lot that counts against England winning this World Cup.
What happens if we lose in the quarterfinals? Does he continue as England manager?
I think I don't think we should underestimate if he gets to the quarterfinal of a World Cup. When you go back pre-Gareth Southgate, which is your argument, we'd have bitten your hand off at the quarterfinal of a World Cup.
Are you going to defend me on that?
No, I'll defend you because I think Gareth Southgate should have won a European Championship. I think they should have beaten Italy in that final. However, pre-Gareth Southgate, England didn't get to quarterfinals and finals at European Championships. So I don't, and it's a tough draw, by the way. You talk about draws. I was there when the draw was made in Washington. England have got to take out some big hitters to get to a quarterfinal.
So where does he
and
have to get to keep his job done?
I think the quarterfinal is par. I think anything beyond that is
takes us to Euros.
success. Do you agree?
The likelihood is that they're going to have to go to Mexico and play Mexico in Mexico City, which is going to be a difficult thing to do, although Mexico traditionally don't ever go any further than the last 16 of the World Cup. Then their quarter-final, if everything goes to plan, which it never does, so it won't be this, is supposed to be Brazil in Miami.
Oh, it's very hot, isn't it, Miami?
It's more likely that might happen.
But if England lose to Carlo Ancelotti's Brazil in a quarter-final, are you going to say that's failure?
Well, I do look at Brazil's squad of players and our squad of players. I'll say we've got a better squad of players.
Tyson Fury and Magmadov go head-to-head April the 11th at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They're going head-to-head today, the press conference, and a Tyson Fury press conference is rarely boring, especially when he's not done one for a while. He'll be coming off his long run. Spencer Oliver and Gareth A. Davis are there to watch it all unfold. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon, guys. Hello, broadcasting legends. How are you?
Good.
He's likely to be as spiky as ever, Gareth, isn't he? You've done enough press. You both have done enough press conferences with him, so they're never dull.
No, I've been in a sit-down with Tyson Fury. He's got a Netflix tie on, Netflix clogs on. He's got the full waistcoat and paraphernalia.
Oh, I see.
He's in a fantastic mood. But I understand he's flown back from Thailand, where he's training 13 hours. He's spending 20 hours here. Then he's flying straight back again to 30-degree. I was just saying to Spencer, for me, guys, the announcement that he's here at the mighty Spurs, of course, Paul,
yes.
Against Arslan Makhmudov on April the 11th, kind of ignited the heavyweight division. The entertainers back. We've had Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois since then. We've got Derek Chisora and Deontay Wilder as well. We only need Usyk in a fight and Caballero in a fight, and we're there. Yeah,
and I think we're going to get those announcements very soon as well. You know, Alexander Usyk talking about boxing over in the United States. So, you know, heavyweight boxing is very much on the comeback. And Tyson Fury, as we know, guys, over the last 10 years or so, has been a dominant force in that heavyweight division and one of the biggest characters.
Fantastic.
Anthony Joshua can recover and mentally, and you know they actually meet this year. It needs to happen.
Boys, we want to see. We'll hear from you later on. I know we're going to be reporting on the press conference later on, but for now, thanks very much.
Excuse me.
Well, that was short and sweet. Thank you very much.
It certainly was.
Thank you.
We're moving on to the world of women's football. That's Gareth A. Davis and Spencer Oliver there at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and that press conference. We'll have all the fallout for you a little bit later on. Because Angelina Kelly has popped in to see us. We're going to reflect on the WSL weekend and other matters besides. Hi, Angelina.
Hello.
We had a lot of goals this weekend. We had
a lot of goals.
Villa 3, Tottenham 7, Manchester City 6, Leicester 0.
Yes. Wow. It was a weekend of goals. Like you say, Manchester City beat Leicester 6-0. You'd kind of expect that because Leicester are at the bottom of the table. It was kind of business as usual for Man City. They've regained that 11-point lead at the top of the table. For Leicester, they are still on their worst winless run away from home in the WSL, 23 games since a victory. It's not looking good when you think about West Ham and Liverpool. They've recently got some wins. So when you look at that relegation spot, it is tough for them. And like you say, Aston Villa and Tottenham, it was insane. I mean, at half-time, it was 3-1 to Spurs. I think in the first 30 minutes, Spurs had 10 shots. And then it just started to unravel for Villa. I mean, in the 68th minute, it goes to 3-2. You think, OK, Villa are still in this. And then they end up getting another goal, but then it all just falls apart for them. Defensively, not good. Villa keeper Ellie Roebuck, she's probably going to be having nightmares over a few of those goals. Probably could have done better with a few of them. But Spurs are now level on points with Arsenal. Their game was postponed because of a waterlogged pitch, and so they now have 2 games in hand. But I just think psychologically for Spurs, considering last season how disappointing they were, to actually be in the mix, to be level on points with a team like Arsenal, it's massive.
It's all done, isn't it? I mean, can you see anybody catching City? They got 8 points on United, 9 on Chelsea.
It's a tough one, yeah. I think that because Manchester City, if there was a turn of events, and I wouldn't wish this, but if there was 1 or 2 injuries perhaps, which is what has affected them in previous seasons, then I think I would be a little bit concerned. But they're a well-oiled machine, and I think to lose that game against Arsenal and then to come back and win 6-0, I do think that it is over and done with. It's more going to be that competition for who gets in second and third into those Champions League places.
When did they start to show that real level of commitment to the women's team, and how many years ago was it? Because obviously they built this, and it used to be that sort of Chelsea-Arsenal stranglehold, but that's changed now.
It's a funny one with City because I think it's been 10 years since they last won the WSL, and they have had some great players in their mix. I mean, they even had, I remember, they had people like Georgia Stanway, Kira Walsh, Lucy Bronze, etc. not too long ago. But I just think what's happened is they've had Gareth Taylor. Things weren't really going to plan. We obviously saw the demise of his relationship with Chloe Kelly, and a lot of people were disappointed about how that's been handled. I think the manager that's just come in has been absolutely brilliant, and their recruitment across the board overall has been good, because bringing in someone like Bunny Shaw, who is scoring goals for fun, is, at the moment going to be the Golden Boot winner, and rightly so. And you've got the experience of someone like Viviana Miedema as well. It just all seems to be clicking for them.
And Hemp's back as well.
Yes.
United beat London City, didn't they?
They did, 2-1.
I feel about them a bit like I feel about Marinakis. I feel like the owner, she's so impatient for success.
Yeah.
Then in the end you think, I don't actually want you to have success.
I mean, you've got to build it slowly, haven't you, really? I mean, all these new players, it's hard for any coach to come in, and was it 17, 18 new players?
Yeah, exactly. It's tough with London City Lionesses in that they had their manager who earned them promotion. They parted ways with him at Christmas, which I think was a bit strange for me, because they were in 6th place, which was roughly where they wanted to be. They've brought in a new manager, Eder Maestre, who I think he was coaching Tenerife before this, hasn't had any kind of glittering success. It's more about the style of football that he possesses. But not great for London City Lionesses. And Manchester United, a winning run now of 7 in all competitions. They had a midweek game in Madrid against Atletico Madrid, which they won 3-0 in their Champions League playoff, because the Women's Champions League is the same as the men's now with the league phase, etc.
Yeah.
So looking really good for Manchester United, and they've got they've got an FA Cup game, 5th round at the weekend, and then they've got a League Cup final against Chelsea. So considering, you talk about owners, I guess you look at Manchester United, Sir Jim Ratcliffe didn't even know who the captain of Man United was last season. So almost the powers that be staying away has actually helped them.
Absolutely, which brings us on to Paul Green.
Yes.
Who had this massive success of Chelsea women, the most successful team for the past 5 or 6 years easily.
He was the director of football there, wasn't he? Or...
He was the head of women's football.
Now he's suddenly left, and you do worry that the hierarchy are going to do what they did to the successful men's team, is sort of unravel it. All right, they're rebuilding it at the moment, but, it is a concern.
Yeah, it's been a busy few weeks for Chelsea, and maybe not in the best ways, because they lost the 2 games with Manchester City and Arsenal. Sonia Bonpastor got a lot of criticism. They've now committed to her, giving her a new contract. And then Paul Green, on Monday, it was revealed that he's left the club. 19 trophies in 13 years was the key to so much success and a lot of really good recruitment. And I think for me, looking at Chelsea, it's the recruitment that is a bit of a worry, because I was at the game at Kingsmeadow against Liverpool. They did win 2-0. Lauren James was fantastic. It seems like she's getting back to being her best. But they don't really have a fit number 9. You look at someone like Sam Kerr, who's nowhere near the player she used to be. She had that ACL injury that had her out for quite a while.
Really affected her, hasn't it?
Yeah, Myra Ramirez is out. Katerina Macario is out and being linked to every big team, it seems to be. So for me, when I watch Chelsea, Aggie Beaver-Jones, great player, but has had one or two injuries and had a good vein of form, but hasn't managed to find that again. So for Chelsea, I think there's going to have to be some recruitment across the board, and also defensively as well, because you look at somebody like Millie Bright, who is the captain, has been fantastic, but she's retired from England. She's had a few injuries. Do they need to think about a bit of the changing of the guard with her as well?
Now, there's a 4-week break in the WSL.
Yes.
And it's an international break. There's World Cup qualifiers, and you were saying Serena Wiegman's going to announce her squad tomorrow for those. But it does kind of upset the momentum a little bit, doesn't it? The league, 4 weeks is a long time.
Yeah, and I think you have that winter break, and then you come back in January. You've had this kind of bank of games, and it's just starting to get interesting. You've got these 6 games left, and so many different clubs are in good form at the moment. Arsenal have been doing well, Chelsea just about building it back. So it is a little bit frustrating. I mean, Arsenal and Manchester United, they've got the second legs of their Champions League knockout playoff ties on Wednesday and Thursday. We've got the FA Cup. We're going to have a League Cup final coming in March, etc. So there will be bits and bobs going on, but you've got the World Cup qualifiers, you've got the Asian Cup, various other international matches. So the football's still there, but I think paired with the break in the winter, it's just like, oh, hang on, we were just like getting back into it, and now it's a bit stop-start.
Is there anybody who you felt might have played themselves into her squad? She has been very loyal to a group of players with England.
Yeah, she has definitely. I think when you look overall, Hannah Hampton, you would imagine will be back into the squad. You look at players like Alex Greenwood, who's back fit, Leah Williamson, of course. Unfortunately, Ella Toone, it looks like she's not going to be available. She's had this hip injury for a while. She might not even be in the League Cup final for Manchester United, which will be a disappointment. Lauren James, like I say, she's back. Nikita Parris scored a good goal for London City Lionesses at the weekend against Manchester United. Maybe she'll get a look in, I'm not too sure. But I think overall you would expect the similar names, and the names that we're used to seeing, your Lucy Bronzes, Esme Morgan, Georgia Stanway, Kira Walsh. Be interesting with Chloe Kelly, though, I think, because she's not had a lot of game time with Arsenal. So I don't know if that's going to affect her. I'll be interested to see if she names her. I think Beth Mead is going to be out, so she's probably a doubt. So maybe there would be space for Chloe Kelly, even if she's not really had the game time that you would expect.
Fantastic. Thank you, Angelina.
Thank you.
We will catch up with you maybe in 4 weeks. You can go into hibernation. Angelina Kelly, they're looking at WSL. Still to come, Johnny May joins us for a chat, the former England wing. England, I'm sure you're aware by now, beaten in the Calcutta Cup pretty soundly by Scotland at the weekend.
It's unusual for Scottish sports people to raise their game against England.
This is your theory, is it?
Well, that's the only time they ever play, isn't it? It's unbelievable.
Meow. And we'll look ahead to Macclesfield Brentford this evening. It's live on talkSPORT in the FA Cup 4th round.
You know, when you walk into Tottenham, what you see everywhere is to dare is to do. It's everywhere. And yet their actions are almost the antithesis of that. Right. It's a real curious in terms of understanding what are they trying to build? You know, what are they? Is it... There's obviously, they've built an unbelievable stadium, unbelievable training facilities. But when you look at the expenditure, particularly, you know, in their wages structure, they're not a big club. I saw that because when we were trying to sign players, we weren't in the market for those players.
I was stunned. I was absolutely... I thought it was disgraceful.
Did you?
I thought, honestly, I couldn't believe what I was listening to. The club have given him £7 million. He's blaming everyone but himself.
No, we've got him a trophy.
Yes, but for his sacking, he's blaming everyone. But when I sat down on the day of the final, Daniel Levy comes up to me and goes, "I've been in 8 semi-finals and final." We all laughed.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? That's his fault.
I don't want to know that. That should be private.
No.
He's just giving you.
No.
Honestly, he didn't blame himself. Did he ever say, "I wasn't that good"?
No. No, but
let me tell you now. If you're listening, Ange, I know you won't, but if you're listening, the reason you were the worst Spurs manager in 50 years,
most successful in the last 20.
And the reason you got
is he the most successful in the last 20?
Yeah, but I've already told you why, right?
No, but is he?
Not in the league, no. All I'm saying is league.
When they look back, though, they'll go, and you successful.
No, because okay, before him, who's the last manager to win something?
Juan de Ramos.
That doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean you're a good manager. The last two have been appalling. The last two have been appalling. But let me tell you now, right? The reason he got sacked by Spurs, the reason he got sacked after 39 days at Forest was because he's not a very good manager. And he never looked at himself once. He never blamed himself once. It was never his fault.
Mikel Arteta says Arsenal need some of their injured midfielders back and quickly, but he'll find no solidarity with Jeff Stelling.
We're still coping, did he say that? I mean, seriously, when it comes to injuries, Mikel and Arsenal fans shouldn't expect any sympathy whatsoever with the size of the squad they have got.
Calafiori, White have joined Ødegaard, Havertz and Marino in the treatment room. Arsenal go to Wolves in the Premier League live on talkSPORT this Wednesday to the Six Nations, where Scotland centre and legend Hugh Jones has told us even he doesn't know what Finn Russell's about to do, and that's what makes him such a special player.
Yeah, on the day, look, everything he touched turned to gold. He went down the short side for Ben White's try, broke a couple of tackles.
Yeah.
He's pretty slippery. But yeah, he was on good form and big part of our win.
The freewheeling try scorer won't be drawn on Scotland's Six Nations chances for the Championship following their thumping win over England. And a lot of people have been wondering how you get into those Winter Olympic events. Team GB gold medal winner Tabby Stoker was doing circus performing when she answered an Instagram ad for UK Sports Talent ID.
And I wasn't sure what I was signing up for, but they did a lot of kind of basic testing to begin with of, you know, how fast you can run, how high you can jump, and then got picked for skeleton.
And at the T20 World Cup, Steve Smith has joined up with the Australian squad, replacing the injured Josh Hazelwood. More at talksport.com.
Big Six Rugby Review on talkSPORT with the next level Peugeot 3008 Fastback SUV. Find your local retailer now at peugeot.co.uk.
Yes, we got a fan's take on Wales Six Nations weekend with the actor comedian Mike Bubbins a little bit earlier on. We're going to look back at the Six Nations action with Peugeot. Here's talkSPORT's rugby commentator Andrew McKenna with everything you need to know.
Will the real Scotland please stand up?
from abject to brilliant in the space of a week. A bonus point win against England that gets them right back into the Championship. They brought organised chaos to the game that completely swamped Steve Borthwick's men, and by the time England had a foothold, it was far too late. Henry Arundel's 2 yellow cards certainly hindered England's game plan, but it wasn't the reason for the 31-20 scoreline. Ireland got their first W on the board thanks to a 2013 win over Italy. In many people's eyes, the better team on the day were the Italians, but Andy Farrell's men found some much-needed form thanks to James Lowe and Jamison Gibson-Park's introduction off the bench. Italy had fun in the scrum as both Tadhg Furlong and Dan Sheehan went out of the sunroof at different times. Next up for Ireland is England at Twickenham. Next up for Scotland is Wales in Cardiff. Steve Tandy's side lost heavily against France, but did we expect a different outcome? What would have been a pleasant surprise is that Wales were significantly better than what they were at Twickenham. Small steps, but what will have been a concern is that only 57,000 were in Cardiff, and a lot of them were French.
Yes, thank you, Macca. So I think the big shock, we spoke to Will Greenwood last week, didn't we? And we were saying, you know, wounded animal Scotland having lost to Italy over there in the pouring rain.
My notes are ridiculous. I watched the game. I don't normally watch them.
You're so bitter, aren't you, Andy? You were just incredibly bitter England fan. Anyway, let's get a more considered take, shall we? I'm guessing so anyway. From the former England wing, Johnny May. Hi, Johnny.
Hi, how you doing? You okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay,
problem. Cool. I mean, look, there was always a chance, you know, it's Calcutta Cup at Murrayfield. They're always going to raise their game, but I don't think anybody quite expected that, did you?
No, I actually thought this would be our hardest fixture. It's funny, living out in France now, the French are very confident, and I was thinking if we can win this one, and assuming we won the couple after that, we'd almost be in almost a final against France at Stade France, and I thought that could be a game that would favour us with the pressure on them and them thinking they're maybe they obviously think they're very good, and we could have given them a bit of a shock, but they've caused us headaches, this Scotland team, over the last decade, and it's frustrating because as soon as they beat us, it's almost a successful tournament for them. So they can play a game style whereby throw all the 50-50s, no pressure, nothing to lose, and when it sticks and it comes off and they get an early lead, they turn into a giant, and the atmosphere gets behind them, and it becomes a very incredibly difficult day and a difficult fixture for us.
It must be hard as a player, Johnny, when you feel a game is getting away from you. You must know as a player, you think this is just not going to. You just can't get a foothold, as Mac was saying there. By the time they did, it was sort of too late, wasn't it?
I mean, definitely. Like I was watching it, and it was just. I mean, the one that did me was like I think we had a maul very early on in the game. We get advantage, so Mitch puts up a box kick. We tap it back. They end up scoring off that. I'm thinking, where's that advantage gone?
Yeah,
where's that gone? They've scored they've scored a try, and we've lost our advantage. Those little moments and the start of a game. So influential, like the crowd get behind them, they get some confidence, they start throwing, and everything starts going their way. Then we get the yellow card, the red card, and then all of a sudden, like you get that feeling on as a player, this isn't our day, and they stuck at it and looked like they could get us back into the game, and then we get a charge down, and then the game has just got away from us. But I can see how it's happened. But I wouldn't overthink it. I mean, I would just say, like, listen, that can happen in sports. A team can come out and play an extraordinary game and things can go their way. I wouldn't panic. I wouldn't change anything. I think it's going to be incredibly difficult for any team to win a Grand Slam, as we've seen the last so many years. And I really wouldn't be surprised if we bounce back, have a good couple of games, and then really give France a good game at the last fixture.
But it's the same in football. You know, Scotland, they always raise their game when they play against England. It's like, it's a really odd thing, this. I know they've got a chip on their shoulder, and there's a lot of history, let's be honest. But yeah. It is odd. If I was Scottish, I'd be quite annoyed that the team can only do it, raise their game against England, and be so poor against Italy. They'll probably won't be that great in the next game. Well, they won't. It's really odd.
You sound a bit bitter, Andy.
It didn't happen in the cricket, but it can happen in the cricket as well.
You must have sensed that edge, Johnny, when you played against Scotland always. It was probably always a bit different, wasn't it?
I'll tell you what, it's not easy being English because you feel like every team played their best game against you.
Yeah, there is an element of that.
But do you know what? You talk about their poor game against Italy. They obviously got shocked out the blocks against Italy. They came out and Italy scored a couple of efficient tries. And then the weather went terrible. I think we've seen Italy have actually improved a fair amount. To go away to Ireland and to stay in that fight and push them a good game. Italy are a tough team. It wouldn't surprise me if they pick up another win or another close. I think it'll be a difficult game for us as well. Wales are obviously very much struggling. It's not even fun watching that. Do you know what I mean? Like as an English fan and for France, it's a bit of a. Do you know what I mean? Nobody wants to see a 50. We want to see competitive rugby. And Italy are certainly proving that now. And people forget Scotland are, like, if you look at their back line and their players and their fly half, I still don't think they can compete for championships, but they are capable of beating world-class teams. You think back to the autumn and a couple of things a little bit different. They could have beaten the All Blacks at Murrayfield. And it was just one of those days that they seem to provide when they play England also many times, frustratingly. But like I said, I wouldn't overthink it as an English fan or an England player. We don't need to rip up the plan or make knee-jerk reactions. Sport is sport, and sometimes teams can have a day like that and things don't go your way. But this team's improving, working hard, good young. Think of the experience some of those young boys would have away at a place like Murrayfield when things aren't going your way. How can you change the momentum? How can you do things a little bit differently and be better if you come across those circumstances again, potentially in a World Cup in 18 months' time?
You said you're over in France playing now, Johnny, and you said like the French guys you play with and stuff, and people you're coming across are feeling very confident. I mean, they are playing some lovely stuff at the moment. They're going to be hard to stop, aren't they?
Yeah, they definitely are, but like the way I see it is the top 8 teams in the world. The margins between these teams are so fine, so fine. And like my opinion, listening to the boys at the club, they think it's a dead cert, and I'm sitting there quite quietly thinking, do you know what? This is good, because what happens if the first 20 minutes doesn't go their way? When we play them in the last fixture, how are they going to react when things aren't going their way or it hasn't gone to plan? And they're in a tough match with all that pressure and expectation on them. Things could be a little bit different. Like I said, I think I really do fancy us for that last fixture. I think we could upset them.
Good stuff. Well, I hope you're right. Just before we let you go, I know you're still playing out in France, but I was reading a little while ago you're preparing for life after rugby and potentially in the armed forces. Is that still something you're pursuing?
No. So I've obviously, time's not on my side anymore. I am 36 in April. Feeling a bit old. I'm looking at lots of things. I did look at the. It's still something I'm looking at, but I looked at the Air Force. Is an option, a career path after rugby, and had a day at one of the RAF camps and had a look around the fire service within the RAF. That was just as something that might be interesting to me. That door's still open. I'm still studying. I've just finished my postgrad in leadership, so I'm keeping busy and keeping options open and available. And I might want to stay in rugby a little bit as well. Who knows? But the more windows and doors or opportunities I have open, then I think that's going to put me in good stead for when a big change comes and I do have to stop.
Absolutely. Well, look, good to talk to you. Appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
That's Johnny May there, the former England wing, looking back on the Six Nations action with Peugeot.
Big Six Rugby Review on talkSPORT with the iconic Peugeot 3008 Fastback SUV. The road is your field.
We're still watching the T20 World Cup, and Australia posted 182, which is not a stunning score. Australia are currently 34 for 1 off of 3 overs.
And they could do with this not being out.
Yeah, there's a review going on at the moment. But, I mean, I think Australia are done if they lose this.
It's going down the leg.
It does, doesn't it? It doesn't look like it's out. I'd be very surprised. So anyway, we'll keep an eye. I'm sure the boys on Drive will as well on that one. Still to come then, we're going to look ahead to Macclesfield versus Brentford, the remaining FA Cup game. I think the draw...
Yeah, quite an intriguing game, but I think Brentford would take it really seriously.
It's often hard, isn't it, for a non-league side when they catch a team out. I mean, it's very hard to build on that, to do it again. And because it's a bit like they're sort of the next team... I mean, after what
they'll be
happened
wary,
at Palace,
won't they?
yeah, and they'll, to an extent, they'll be ready for them, and so
they're in better form than Palace were.
Yeah,
so,
and they've been. But you know, you never know, do you? You know, under the lights, at home, on their own pitch, anything can happen. Which is why we're going to bring it to you live tonight. All the build up from 8 o'clock kickoff. Adrian Durham, your host. Sam Matterface. Oh no, it's Natalie Sawyer's your host for that one, and Sam Matterface and Andy Townsend, your commentary team. You can get your calls into the Sports Bar at 10 straight afterwards. Jamie O'Hara and Jermaine Pennant. That's because Jason Cundy is alongside Andy Goldstein on drive very shortly. But we'll look ahead to that game in a bit more detail. And we're here with Tool Station. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Tool Station.
Is Szoboszlai up with a Gerrard standard? I'd love to know what Liverpool fans thought, because I think but him and Gerrard, there ain't a lot in it. I mean, Steven Gerrard at 25, 26 was amazing. He dragged the team, a bit like Szoboszlai has done this season, but Liverpool did win the Champions League in 2005. And look, an outstanding, if not the best ever Liverpool midfielder. But I wondered how close Szoboszlai was to Gerrard. I'd just love to know if there's Liverpool fans out there who would go, do you know what? Or no, he's not, you know. Because I think they're pretty close.
Never mind Liverpool fans out there who say, no, he's not. Yeah, there are some presenters here who said, no, he's not. The thing for me, Coisty, is that he would have to do it over a heck of a lot longer period to ever be compared to Steven Gerrard.
Listen, I've got to say to you, Jeff, I've written down 4 words here. Big Cass, there's a line, then I've put calm down. I've just put calm down after it. Szoboszlai probably has been the pick of the bunch of Liverpool players, perhaps this season.
Yeah, I think he has.
Yeah, I think he's been terrific. You could look at key moments, for example, his goal, the free kick against Arsenal, out of this world. Even his goal in the defeat at home to Manchester City, out of this world. His goal at the weekend was absolutely fabulous, Jeff. It really was, mate. I spoke to you about it. Overlap, Kerkez allows Gakpo to come inside. Switch of play is magnificent. One touch from Salah, the hit. It was just a beautiful goal.
Dawson puts his foot through to get it away. They have done it. They have done it. Macclesfield have knocked the holders out of the FA Cup.
I think it'd take a miracle, but on the day, the lads were outstanding. But they were still massive underdogs rolling into the Brentford game.
Jensen's going to go for goal and win the game with an absolute stunner.
This is what it's about. It's about fans and players, and that's ultimately what it's always been about. So fans have to get excited.
Hasn't it shown once again, the FA Cup? What a beautiful competition it is.
Yeah, potential for another giant killing after Macclesfield knocked out Palace.
Only one upset so far this weekend, which was, if you love the FA Cup, it's a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
So
still, to get this deep in the tournament for Macclesfield is pretty amazing. Yeah. And, I would imagine that Keith Andrews is going to rest a few. He's going to mix it up.
Sort of. They haven't got a game till Saturday. It's Monday. I think Brentford can see a good cup run here. They've got a chance like Palace.
Yeah.
So, no, I think he'll take it very seriously. But
let's get the thoughts of a Brentford fan. And Billy the Bee, Billy Grant joins us. Hello, Billy.
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, we're good. So are you up there for the game this evening?
Yeah, I am been drinking in over there. Actually, this afternoon, I've come up on the train today. It's been an absolute nightmare.
Oh.
And it must tell you something. It must be you and the good luck, because it's been absolutely chucking it down here all night and all day today. But this one little period, it stopped. So it must be the talkSPORT charm.
There you go.
We're pleased to hear it.
It's an artificial pitch, so that won't affect.
Yeah, we haven't got to worry about the conditions. That's true. I mean, Keith Andrews has had them training on the academy pitch, on the plastic pitch. It's better to be prepared, because apparently a few of the Palace players were complaining afterwards. It was a really difficult pitch to read. So you want to, it can be a bit of a leveller. So you want to make sure you're on it, don't you?
That's definitely. I mean, there's something. The good thing, I heard you talking about Keith. The good thing, obviously, Keith has done brilliantly for Brentford after everyone sort of kind of knocked him and expected him to do, get us relegated and all sorts of stuff. But the thing that you've noticed about Keith, he's taken quite a different attitude to quite a few things. One of the things is the cup, because the past few seasons we've been knocked out pretty much every third round in the cup. Plymouth, haven't done very well in the cup, and I think I love the FA Cup. You love the FA Cup. I think sides like us really do need to take it seriously. Yes, we do understand about swapping players around and mixing players around, but also at the same time, you can still have a good balance. And I think previously Brentford have gone out there expected to win, putting a team out there, and when they haven't won, they've gone, oh no, we haven't won. Keith has been very different with that. He's got a really good balance between experienced players and the new players coming through. And the new players coming through is the ones who deserve to be there. So you're going to see some first team players in the game today, but also exciting new players like Ramel Donovan, the guy that we got from Birmingham City. Really, really exciting young winger as well. It's Kay Fura, all the Brentford fans. We got him from Bruges, the same place as Thiago. Only 18 years old. We thought he was going to be straight in the academy, but they've thrown him into the first team. He hasn't played yet. We're really excited to see what he's got coming as well. So I think that little balance between the two and the vibe that the team has got at the moment, they just play like a team. They're just like a family together. And I think that it doesn't matter who you've got in the side, because they all got the same mentalities that we want to win. We want to go out there. So I'm really looking forward to it,
Yeah, they're banging form. I mean, they played after Arsenal scored. They were brilliant, Brentford. They could easily have gone on to win the game. No question.
They're playing. I mean, it's gone a whole lot better. Well, there was a bit of trepid. How do you feel? I must ask you, how do you feel about what's happened to Thomas Frank at Tottenham?
I'll be honest with you. I think Tottenham are treated them really badly. You can turn around and say to you, "Oh, the results weren't this and that, the other," but you have to remember that he's gone into a club that the culture isn't right. And I think that Thomas thought that if he brings 6 or 7 or 8 Brentford people, he'll be able to fix the culture. He can't fix the culture there. So you've got all these Tottenham fans expecting things to happen overnight. Why hasn't anything happened for the previous 27 managers that you've had? You know what I'm saying? Thomas, seriously. You know what I'm saying? So Thomas has gone inside there. They've treated him badly. The players have treated him badly. He was probably a little bit polite because he should have dropped a couple when they weren't talking. All this kind of stuff, that should have really happened. At the end of the day, what's going to happen is that Thomas is going to go to another club, probably go to something like Palace, a mid-table club, and they're going to end up they're going to finish the next season higher than Tottenham would do. Trust me, just remember that one.
It is interesting, and the fact that Keith Andrews has done so well has not done Thomas Frank any favours, really.
I think
he's improved the team. So
Tottenham couldn't wait any longer. I mean, they are properly in a relegation scrap, and they shouldn't be. And I think it's a lot of reasons. As I said, I don't think he's blameless, but he's not completely to blame for what happened. But let's stick with tonight. Declan, who's head of OBs, he's up there with the team, and he has just said, terrible weather up here, 3G pitch. It looks like it's going to start raining again, Billy. Mac will fancy themselves. He says they've got a bit of confidence. Do you think
he's a Chelsea fan?
Yeah, an early goal would be handy from your point of view. Just settle everybody down, wouldn't it, from a Brentford point of view?
I said 100% we need an early goal. 100%. I can tell you this for a fact. Unlike Palace, we're not going to take this for granted. We're going to come up here and they're going to be completely prepared. I think they came up here and they checked the pitch out at midday. And he's going to pick a side, which I said to you, has got, interesting things like we're asking the question, is Jordan Henderson going to play? Now, technically, you say Jordan Henderson shouldn't play in a game like Macclesfield because you should have enough with your other players for him not to play. But they might throw him into the mix to say, actually, tell you something, Jordan's only played 15 minutes the last game, 15 minutes the previous game. We're going to put you into this game because at the end of the day, you need game time. And also, you are a Brentford player, and this is a very important game to us. So we will see when he puts the side out how he'll take it. But I really do believe that we're taking this one seriously. Yeah. The players will take it seriously. Get an early goal, it'll settle everybody else down. But again, I'm with the Macclesfield fans inside there. They're really lovely, really friendly, happy people. They're happy to be here. They think maybe they might get something out of it. But we're not taking anything for granted. We're not being arrogant or anything like that. We're just saying, we'll see how it goes.
Well, we let you go and have a pint with the dear Macclesfield fans. Yeah. Enjoy the game, Billy. All the best.
Wicked. Thank you. Cheers.
There's Billy the Bee there, Billy Grant. The draw is taking place around 6:35, so both teams will know when they kick off.
I always think it's such a mistake and so unfair because if you say Brentford they don't fear anybody, Brentford, but say they get City away.
Yeah.
It's a sort of disincentive, isn't it? It's not great as you go onto the pitch saying, all right, we'll beat them, but well, great, we've got City away. I just think it'd be better off not knowing at all, I think. But there we go. That's the way it is.
That's happening. We'll keep you in touch with that on Drive. Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy are coming up next to bring you Drive. And as we said, that game at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, over on talkSPORT 2, Coventry versus Borough. Huge game in the Championship. And you can get your calls into the Sports Bar. Jamie O'Hara's got Jermaine Pennant alongside him from 10. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.
Sri Lanka are doing well, yeah.
Yeah, they are, because Sri Lanka was a bit of an upset against Australia. Although we'd all hate that, wouldn't we?
Oh, yeah, me too.
We'll keep an eye on that one for you here on talkSPORT. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.
But Forest fans, in comes Vitor Pereira. Is he the right choice? And Thomas Frank has gone. In comes Igor Tudor. So Frank for Tudor, Deitch for Pereira. Do those pivots give you more or less confidence of Premier League survival? Basically, that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Because you do not want